nothing.
Hey y'all, how you doing? Hi, protected by God. Hi, Leo the Lion. Hi, Marilyn. How are you? QT, what's up? What's up? How you doing? I'm sorry I'm late. I've been working hard today. Uh, oh, my butt's numb. I have been working hard. The baby's late. The baby was late getting picked up. That's why I was late, babe. Sorry. Yeah, stuff happens. She was stuck behind an accident, so. Hello, Champagne. Hello, Daphne. Eye of Crystal. How you doing, love? Hi, Tawana. Urban Media. How are you, sweetie? Okay. Y'all hit that like button. Hi, Dawn. Hey, Valerie. Oh my God, my butt is numb in this chair. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, Valerie, Gloria, Sean. How you guys doing? Is the weather nice where y'all at? It is beautiful out here, and I'm up in here. I think it's like 82 today, which is nice and hot for Seattle standards. Oh, goodness. Now I can breathe for a second. I was rushing because I had typing to do and trying to get the rain where you are, Maryland. Ooh. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that. Uh, uh, uh. Yeah, it's been a long day, hun. Long day, Urban. Yes. Hi, Gloria. California 74. Okay. Hey, Jess. How you doing? Hi, Simone. Oh, man. I have not had a breath since I woke up. 82 in Jersey. All right. I'm doing great, Millionaires Cove. Thank you for asking. Hi, Camille. Y'all hit that like button. We got a lot to cover today. I have been busy. I've been real busy. And I be struggle streaming. I'm not used to all these extra windows and stuff like that. So I think I'm a little bit better, but I'm going to come a little bit more correct today. So, yeah, we're going to go over this first accident report today. Yes, it is, Jess. I wish I could get out in it. Dang, I've been working all day. And the baby's mom was late picking him up. So I had to kind of wait before I could get back on to what I was doing here. Uh, Hi, Faith. What's happening, sweetie? Hi, Lawanda. Okay. We're going to give us some time for people to come in. I'm staying in the shade. I don't blame you, Jess. I don't blame you. I got my fan going because it gets hot up in here. DJ Wilma's grown and sexy. Oh, boy. We got some stuff to cover today. I don't know if we even covered it way back in the beginning, but I haven't seen some of these things that I noticed on this report. I took detailed notes. And I got the second accident report, the one for the 18-wheeler. That was difficult, but I got it. We can go over it together. I haven't even had a chance to look at it. Excuse me. High prophetic proverbs. Thank you. Thank you. I will. Thank you so much. Hey, Tawana, Tawana. Okay, we got 58 in the chat so far. For those of you who haven't hit that like button, go ahead and hit it. I'm sure most of you already have, but just in case you forgot, if you're on a television, sometimes it's hard to do it, but you got to kind of scroll up and move over, and it's a pain. So yeah, if you guys are on a TV, it's doable. You can actually hit the like button. It's just you have to be able to maneuver over to it. So, I hope y'all are doing okay today. Hi, Benjamin. How are you? Man, I didn't eat. Well, yes, I did. I ate something. I forgot all about that. Let me go pick this piece of paper up. I can't be dropping my notes. Oh, I got it. Oh, okay, Jessica. On your TV and phone. Okay. Really dope, really dope, really dope. How you doing? Millionaire's Code. There she is. Okay, it's creeping up a little bit. So hopefully, hi Valerie. No, honey, I don't have Cash App, unfortunately. It's a long story, but they won't let me have it. I have Zelle, I have PayPal, but other than that, I don't have any. I don't have Cash App. I used to. I don't know what happened. I think somebody might have hacked into my account. They couldn't get anything because I didn't have anything in it. Hi Marzella. Hey Bay May. Yeah, it's just one of them things, and I won't fool with Venmo. I don't trust Venmo at all. I've witnessed a bad experience with Venmo, so I'm just really cautious about that. I wish I could have a Cash App. It was really convenient. Que sera? Hi, Monsieur. Good to see you too, love. Yep, we are in the month of June already. Dang. How do you do super chat? There's a little button. If you're on your phone, there's a little button that looks like a dollar bill or maybe even a heart with the word thanks in it. That's how they do the super chats. So, yeah, it just depends on what device you're on. But if it's too much trouble, sweetheart, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Could you put it in your husband's name? Huh. I don't think my husband has a Cash App either. I probably could, but I don't want to risk that. I don't. I'd have to find out if he even has a Cash App. He may have a Cash App, but as it stands now, I just have the Zelle and PayPal. I have a PayPal account. Both those things are usually shown in the chat, or it's on the back description on my channel. So, but that Cash App, not Cash App, the super chat thing is always like right there in the chat area. This is by Rapper. If it's boring, you have a wonderful day though. I'll help you. How about that? Okay. Yes, they do. They really do. They take I think 30% if you send a super chat or a super sticker. But hey, what can I say? I can't complain. I can't complain at all. I'm grateful for whatever I get. Yeah, Rapper said this was boring. So I helped him on his way. That was fun. You're bored? Let me help you. People are a trip. These trolls are a trip. They are a trip. Let's go slots. What's happening? Kinfolk in the house. Yes. Jess loves Let's Go Slots. I can tell you why too. Because slots love Jess. Inside joke. Yeah, them slots love Jess. I need that kind of luck. Boy, when I play slots, boy, they see me coming. Oh, here she come. Here she come. We gon' empty all her wallets. Like I got that much. That's funny. I'm gonna see if we can go up to 100. Let's see if we can go up to 100 so I can. I don't know. I haven't seen Brother Charles Lawanda. I haven't seen him today. Maybe he'll come later. What about buy me a coffee? I keep hearing about that, Benjamin, and I think I'll set that up when I get some time. I'm with you on that one, Millionaire's Cove. I may get up about $20 if I'm lucky. And then I just give it right back. He said, I think I missed that message. I didn't send a message. Jacqueline Whitaker, how are you? Yeah, I'm gonna check that out, Benjamin. I heard that's a cool little thing to set up. Buy me a coffee. I haven't drank coffee in a while, but okay. Ogumbanke, how are you, my love? Man, I bet you were, Jess. I would have been shocked too. They'd have had to shock me into existence. I'd have passed out. Lita, how are you? Oh, thank you, Valerie. Thank you for the $10 super sticker. I'm wonderful, Ogumbanke. Ogunbanke. Yes, thank you so much for your support. Really dope said, I have the buy me a coffee. It's not bad. I forgot what they charge though. Okay, I don't know. I'll look into it though. I've been so busy lately trying to do the thing. You did it, didn't you, Valerie? I did it. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate you. You won almost $200 on slots. Man, if I won $200 on slots, I'd have cashed it in too. I think I've won, the most I ever won was like $720, and I took a picture of it and then cashed it out. Yeah, them slot machines are tricky, Faith. But if you're doing it in fun and not trying to win, that's another story. The most you won was 2,500, Don. Oh wow, man. Jess has the magic touch. Them slots be knowing she coming. They say, "Oh, we love her." Hi, real one. That's my honey. Auntie Mickey, when someone sends a super chat, do you receive the complete amount sent? No. YouTube takes a percentage of it. Yeah, I think they take 30% from what I was told. So yeah, they don't, I mean, that's why so many people are pushing Cash App, pushing Zelle, pushing PayPal, because when you go those routes, they don't get a part of that. Yeah, they do. They smell that perfume coming, don't they? Hey, CC, C2C. We are so very proud of you. Thank you. I'm trying, hun. Thank you. I'm so blessed to be here with you guys. I wish I could, honey, but I can't have a Cash App. They won't let me have one. I done tried 4 times since they shut my account down, and they never told me exactly why. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going through this. Is that why they don't do Cash App? That's why I don't do Cash App, because it's like they won't let me have an account. Good for you, real honey. Are you going to address the victim? Actually, I plan to. Yes, yes. And just for the record, I don't condone what happened to her by any means. Not one bit, not one bit whatsoever. But I never trashed that woman. I never trashed that woman. I had nothing bad to say about her. So, just for the record. And when I do address her, it'll be on a personal level, not a public level. So, just let you know. No problem, sweetheart. No problem, Shayna. I appreciate the question. Yes, yes, Don. Working there, you see the good, bad, and the ugly. Oh man, everything is everything, honey. Everything is everything. No, you didn't, but you allowed it. I allowed what, sweetheart? Allowed what? Can you be specific as to what I allowed? Because I don't control a grown man. I just met that man 2 months ago. See, I'm not going to be held responsible for his deal. If you know what I'm saying. But without going into torture a victim on my platform, in what way? By explaining his side? Is that what you're saying? It's okay, honey. Let her. I mean, she's fine. She's entitled to her questions. She's entitled to her questions. I don't feel like I allowed anyone to talk. Not saying you did, but he did it on your page, lying and re-victimizing her. Well, unfortunately, at that particular time, I did not know he was lying. Sometimes it takes a while to understand what someone is really about. And I feel like we were all victimized at some point in time. Not as bad as her, but nevertheless, yeah, I don't want to go there tonight. You understand what I'm saying, Shayna? So, again, um, I believe everybody has an entitlement to speak their truth. And sometimes people are not speaking truth. So, just making that clear. So, yes, Vivian, how are you, my love? And the silence is in the house. I understand that. And it's terrible. And it's terrible. And I will address her personally myself. I feel really bad that that situation even came about. Yeah, don't worry about it, babe. Don't worry about it, Luanda. Yeah, she's not being disrespectful. She's not being disrespectful at all. So, Shayna, we're going to move on though. I've answered your questions and I understand where you're coming from, sweetheart. So, thank you so much. Hi, Discerning 8. How are you, sweetie? Okay. It's okay, honey. It's okay. She's entitled to her opinion. So I'm not tripping about that. Hi, Rachel. Yes, it must go on. Hi, Holly. Hi, Use Wisdom. Yeah, that's her decision, Use Wisdom. Yes. We're gonna, yes, let's stay positive. Yes. You know what? And that's what we're gonna talk about tonight, Vivian. That's exactly what we're gonna talk about. Because there could be a number of things to look at. It could be that, it could be something else. We kind of touched on the first accident report from yesterday, and there was some very unanswered questions that we looked at, like why did it take so long for them to show up? That was pretty disturbing in itself. But I looked it over and I see some more things that didn't sit too well with me. So we're going to go over that first. But before I touch on the accident report, remember we talked about the interior of the Mercedes Benz uh, Sprinter van, 2021 Sprinter van. Hi, Bless. Hello, Tony. No, Tony ain't here, Bless. Strike that name. He ain't here. Got the wrong name in there, sweetie. Wrong name, wrong platform. But hello to you anyway, love. Exactly. That's how I think too, Vivian. But I did obtain the accident report for that 18 wheeler. So we'll be able to go over that as well. It's okay, Bless. That's what, hey, that's what computers will do. You make a mistake, you just got to keep it pushing. Hi, conspiracy realist. That's right. He don't live here anymore. Absolutely, Faith. Absolutely. It's really a trip to look at that first accident report in more detail. I made some real serious notes here, and I'm going to attempt to bring this up. Hi, Barbara. How are you, sweetie? Let's go. Slots said, Auntie, I was looking at a police chase from a news station in Florida. The camera showed the chase through 3 cities. So how come they did not see anything in Angie's accident? That part, it doesn't make any sense. Thank you, Jacqueline Whitaker, for the 199 super sticker. Thank you so much. Lady Patience, welcome, sweetheart. I bet he was wanted or illegal. He quit his job on the spot. Something definitely ain't right about that. Well, he sure is in the wind now, ain't he? Auntie, y'all not tired of going over the same info? We all know something isn't right. But the thing is that the last time or earlier when we went over this info, we didn't come across some of the questions that are on this first report. Did you guys ever see the second report for the 18 wheeler? I don't recall ever seeing that report. Do you? Yeah, we know something isn't right. I mean, it's obvious that something isn't right. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. My condolences, sweetheart. I'm sorry to hear about your cousin. You take care, love. I'll see you later. God bless. Stay strong. Another warrant. Oh boy. Another warrant was discovered today. I will leave it there. Talk private. Okay. I see I missed a lot. I need to go back and watch the post shows to catch up on the strike. Comment, Auntie. Okay. Vivian, I agree. It seems law enforcement just turned a blind eye. Exactly. And that's what wasn't addressed in the beginning. That just wasn't. Nobody wanted to say it, but I'm just going to outright say it. That's what it looked like. If it looked like a duck and walked like a duck, quack like a duck, what is it? It's a duck. Hey, Tricky. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Oh boy. Let's see. This thing is going awfully fast. Yes, we do have to stay on this, Vivian. So, what I'm going to do before we go off into that, I want to play you this video so you'll get an idea of what the inside of this Sprinter van looked like, because there was some discussion as to whether or not there was a partition in there or not. And as it stands, from this particular video, this is the same year that they were riding in, the same year of vehicle. To the somebody that said something's not right, exactly. That's why we're going over everything with a fine tooth comb. Exactly, because I think we missed some things before. So if you bear with me, I'm going to share this video with you, if you don't mind. Can y'all see that okay? No sound? Okay, hold on. Well, that's odd. It's not, you guys can't hear it? Man, I can hear it. Yeah, it has audio. I'm not sure why it's not playing. Dang. I don't understand it. Well, I'm gonna have to trash that. I'm gonna have to figure out why this is not working. Because the sound is up. The sound is definitely up. It's up all the way. I wonder if maybe it's doing that because it's playing in Windows Media Player. Okay, let me try something else. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up on YouTube. Dang, that really bugs me. That's why I don't like doing this stuff. I gotta do better. Well, I tell you what, we're gonna move on from that part until I can figure out what's going on. Okay. There is another video I'd like to share with you. This is a video of Angie, uh, courtesy of Juanita Wynn. She posted this, and it just shows her condition back in the summertime when she performed. Um, Clearly, she was not as lively as you would think. I mean, she needed help walking up the steps and stuff like that. That makes a big difference in terms of, um, if she were in an accident of some kind, she was not able to just jump out. There's too many questions about whether she was out of the van, in the van. We're going to find out later when we look at that uh, accident report into more detail that she was in the van. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and set this up for you. Okay, I hope this sound works. Tell me if you guys can hear this.
All the way from Cape Town, South Africa. Zawadi is with us tonight. He's an artist in residence at Art 180, and he'll be painting while Miss Stone is on the stage. With a career spanning decades, Angie Stone has enchanted audiences with her soulful voice, powerful lyrics, and unmatched talent. She is a true pioneer in the music industry, blending R&B, soul, and hip-hop into a unique sound that resonates with fans worldwide. Beyond her musical achievements, Angie Stone is also known for her work as an actress and for her commitment to empowering and inspiring others through her artistry. We are so fortunate to have this gift. People's Evolution Music Fest. Southside. Are you ready? Please make some noise. Welcome to the Southside, Miss Angie Stone.
Okay, somebody was asking when that was. That was summer. That was summer of 2024. That concert took place just before her blood poisoning incident. That was just before her. That's right, I have Crystal. She sounded really good, but notice she needed help walking up the stairs and she had to sit down as she performed. And you could tell that she wasn't well. Okay. It wasn't too long after that that she ended up in the hospital that November. Uh, and she, according to her videos, she said she almost died. So, there's just some really nefarious things that you have to step back and look at. You know, um, very powerful woman. And when she came out with her truth, she said, I don't know how they're going to come for me. And that was a cry out. I believe that. I really believe that. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to play around with this Mercedes uh, Sprinter van video. I'm going to probably have to convert it to a different file. So, what we're going to do now is we can discuss this crash report again because I took some notes about this. Let me share this. Okay, move this over. I'm doing a little bit better. You think I'm doing a little bit better? I'm not struggling as bad as yesterday, huh? Yeah, you know what, Vivian? That's a good question. I let me put you up there so people can see. Faith, I wonder why her publicist did not drive her. She was too big of a star to ride with the van. She is the queen of soul. Thank you, Vivian. I appreciate you. Oh, thank you, you guys. Struggle streaming. But despite what we went over yesterday, I know we talked about how long it took for them to get there. Let's see if we can find anything on here that might pique our interest, if you know what I'm saying. Time at the accident 4:20 Saturday morning in rural Montgomery, Alabama. Thank you, Millionaires Code. Let's see, milepost 162.6. It's just really strange when we get to this. Now, I'm going to make this a little bigger. But when you see what I'm talking about, go back. Come on, man. Don't do me like that. There we go. So actually, you know what? Actually, we do need to go back to the previous page because the previous page down here at the bottom is where the victims of the crash are listed. But unfortunately, they redacted the names. How about that? How convenient. Man. So let me make this larger. Can y'all see that okay? Or should I make it bigger? I can make it a little bigger if you like. Is that okay? Okay, so we're going to go down here to the first two victims. Now they've got this, what do they call it? It tells you the different codes, what all these different codes mean that you see right up here. The unit number, which would be the van. It was a one vehicle accident. So that would be unit number 1. Seating position, it was very interesting how they had these seating positions. I think they're typos, which again plays into what I was saying about how careless they were with this report. Occupant type, that would be in this case, unit number 1, that's the van. This is just victim number 1. Of course, we can all basically come to the conclusion that this is Lethal, the driver. Unit number 1 is the van. This is the only vehicle. Seating position would be number 1 because he's the driver. Okay. Occupation type would be 1 because he's the driver. And then safety equipment, what that goes over is basically letting you know if he was wearing a seatbelt. They all wore seatbelts with the lap belt except passengers number 6 and 8. 2 for airbag, meaning that Lethal's airbag was not deployed and no switch. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to mean. I mean, not deployed, no switch. So we know that it didn't go off. And there was no switch to make it go off or on. Injury type 3. 3 means minor injuries. Okay. Hi, James Scott. So let's get over here to the sex. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that word on YouTube. The gender. This is the gender box. 1 for male. So he was a male. And this next box is pretty self-evident. It says ejection. 1 means no ejection. First aid by, that means he was transported by EMT or ambulance. Now I'm going over this on him specifically so you can see the difference with everyone else. Okay. Now this second individual just below Lethal, we have to come to the conclusion that that was Dante. Even though, along with the little typos in here, he was also in unit number 1. His seating position, they have is 3 instead of 2. If he's sitting right next to Lethal, wouldn't you think that that would be seat number 2 in a position in terms of all of the people that were sitting in there? There were 9 people in this van. Faith said, it is an ongoing investigation until we stop talking about it. They'll never release any information to the public, and then they're going to close it. I agree. I believe that to be true too. But it's letting us know just how reckless, or I won't say reckless, I would just say negligent. I'll just say it like that. This is why we have 2 protests, to get the information or to see if they're really investigating it as a crime. Hi, Holly. How are you, love? So here's one problem right here. Seating position number 3. Where's seat number 2? There's no seat number 2 in here. This van was full. It was at full capacity. In this particular case, occupation type, in this case for Lethal, it was 1 because he was the driver. Anything other than one would be two as a passenger. Two means passenger. In this case, safety equipment for Lethal, he had his seatbelt on, crossed over from his shoulder to waist, and then the lap. Same thing with Dante. The curious thing for the airbag situation, we see two for Lethal, but for the airbag situation for whom I believe is Dante, uh, that four means the airbag was not deployed but switched on. So how can one be not deployed with no switch and the other one be not deployed but it's switched on? It doesn't make sense. I don't know if that's a typo or what. Maybe they don't figure that anybody's paying attention to any of this. But once again, the code for the injury type for Dante would be 3, which means minor injuries. We go over here to gender. Number 1 means a male. Ejection, 1 meaning no, that person was not ejected from the vehicle. And first aid by, 1, transport, ambulance transport. He also has a 1 here, but this is where it gets interesting. When we go to the next page and we take a look at the rest of the victims, and I'm going to try to make this even larger if I can. Okay, let's go up here. You see this first area? Of course, the names and addresses are redacted. We don't see anything. Now, I've seen a report in the past from this same website, and all the information was there. Now, I'm glad it's not in this case because I don't want to dox anybody. Okay. Hopefully, the family is pushing this investigation. I hope so. I really hope so. Protected by God said, in my opinion, this is a police report. Was that a question or a statement? Because this is the crash report. This is all the police report we got that we have access to. Hi, Lisa. So here's the thing, Vivian, to answer your question. This next person, you be the judge as to who this is. Now you notice everybody here is listed as being taken to Baptist South Hospital in Montgomery, Alabama. They were taken by Care Ambulance. The medical facility is EMS ground. But if you look up here, taken to NA, we know what NA means, not applicable. Mind you, this is just the first accident report. There's 2 accident reports. One for the Sprinter van before the 18-wheeler hit it. And then there's the second one that involves the 18-wheeler. So they're considered 2 separate accidents. Okay? There's no mention of any other vehicles that might have been involved. So that's strange because I received a picture of the accident scene, and there sure was a messed up, what looked like to be a crash of some kind or a car that had been hit very badly. But again, I'm not able to pull that up right now. So A ear dang near cut off is not a minor injury. Exactly. But see, the thing is that it wasn't cut off. I mean, it could have been, but I've heard otherwise, saying it was just a minor cut where they had to stitch it. So it's all about individual interpretation. Unfortunately, we can't get medical information, because that's personal. But what we do have is very interesting. Yes, and I believe that to be true as well, Faith. But it don't take a rocket scientist to know who victim number 3 is. And it's interesting that the information for victim number 3 is as follows: taken to NA, taken by NA, medical facility not applicable. If we go up here to these codes here, unit number 1, of course, is the van. Seating position in this case is number 4. So somebody's doing some serious typos in here, because how do you jump from, this is victim number 3, seated in the 4th seated position, and there's no seated position for 3, for the 3rd seat, if you will. There's the Lethal in seat number 1, Dante and what should have been seat number 2, they called it seat number 3, and now I believe this to be Angie in the seated position of 4. Of course, she was a passenger. That's what 2 means. Safety equipment indicates that she wore her seatbelt from shoulder to waist and crossed the lap. The airbag, of course, there were no airbags back there. That's what that 1 means. No airbags. Okay. Injury type was very interesting. I looked up what the injury type 99, the code 99, when I looked it up, said unknown. Unknown. Don't you find that odd? Gender was 2. That means female. Ejection, it says 1. No ejection. You think it might have been a middle seat up front? Eye of Crystal? I don't think those Sprinter vans are built like that, though. And again, Vivian, you know what? I'm starting to think a lot of people say a lot of things and we take it to be fact, and it may not be the case, because that's what was said inside the van, but ain't nobody talking now. Right. I showed that, Tracy, when I talked about the seat positioning. Hold on just a second. You talking about this here? Let me make it larger. Oops. Let me pull that up. There we go. Are you speaking about right here, sweetheart? Seat number positioning? Because if that's the case, that still doesn't make sense, because maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. That's the only diagram I see. 2, 4, 6 passenger. Seating position codes. Okay. 2, 4, or 6 passenger. Okay, so 2. Okay, there was no middle seat. So you're right. That's right. So it's not a typo. I didn't catch this part. So these codes, The seating position is not the thing I'm really paying attention to. But what I am paying attention to is the fact that we've been told that she was outside of the vehicle. We've been told that she was inside of the vehicle. This report indicates that she was not outside of the vehicle. And it also says injury type unknown. First aid by 97, the code 97. Let me see, I wrote that down. First aid administered, none. That's what that code means. First aid by 97 means none. No first aid administered. I don't understand this. I agree with that, Holly. So much mumbo jumbo in it. You cannot make heads or tails of either of them. Now, all the rest of them are pretty cut and dry. No big deal about these. But what I did come to the conclusion of, that now this is the facts if you look at the report. Here's what I came up with. All injury types except victim 3 were coded minor injuries. All victims except victim number 3 were transported to Baptist Southern Hospital. Driver's airbag, of course, was not deployed with no switch. And the passenger next to the driver, his airbag was not deployed. His switch was on, but it didn't deploy. The other thing I noticed that per this report, there was only 3 vehicles. I'm sorry, not 3 vehicles. There were only 3 females, according to this report, in the van. And we know better. We know that Angie was on there. What Diamond was told is really hearsay. Well, I'm thinking that maybe Diamond was going according to this, because I thought Diamond said that she never got out of the van. But nevertheless, there's just, it was poorly done. I'll just put it like that. They've got they're one short female. We know there was Angie, there was Sheila, and the twins. There was 4 girls, 4 females on that van. But according to this report, it says 3. Okay? All passengers wore seat belts, except for passengers 6 and 8, where only the lap belt was used. And the report says nobody was ejected from the vehicle. Now that's based on the report. So how do we hear that she was pinned? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. Now, of course, we know that the real damage came when the 18-wheeler came. So let me take that down. I'm going to try to pull up this 18-wheeler report. Stand by just a second. Now, I haven't looked at this report in depth, so we can look at this together. Thank you, Charles. Good to see you. We were wondering where you were. Sean, I do have the toxicology report, And if you give me a minute after going over this, I can pull that up for you. Let's see if I can make this bigger. Bear with me. Now, we're going to look at this together because I haven't had a chance to look at this. Okay? But as you can see, time is 4:25. That's 5 minutes after the first accident. Okay? 4:25, same time. I mean, same week, day of the week, county. All that is cool. This is the name of the employer that owned the vehicle. This is their liability insurance, policy number. Now, I didn't get a chance to look at all these codes. It says oversized load NA. Okay, this is going to be a weird experience now because now I got to try to play. See if I can pull up. Dadgummit. I don't want it to be this big. I want to be able to pull up that legend. They call it a legend. And if I could pull up that legend, it can give us the codes to look at. So I'm going to pull that over there. Wish I could put two screens up here, but I can't. So all of this information again is redacted. And pull this out a little bit. Okay, so emergency status, usage type. See, I don't know what all that means. But we're going to go to the diagram as to how the vehicle, he was in the far right-hand lane. Was he in the far right-hand lane? I thought he was supposed to be in this lane. Or am I doing the wrong one? Am I on the right one? Hold up. This is the wrong... Shit. I'm sorry. I pulled up the wrong one. My bad. Okay, here's Jared's. Share screen. Okay, make this larger. Wait a minute, why does that have that down there? Something is wrong here. That says the Sprinter. Okay, Liberty Mutual. This is the right one. I'm tripping. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Can you guys see that? Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not really able to open another window. I'm trying to work with this one. I can try, but if you just give me just a second, let me see if I can open another window. That just replaces the other one, so Yeah, it's not let me. It's not let me. I can only do one at a time, which is stupid. Let me do this again. It won't let me pull them both up. Can you guys see that? Okay, so if we scroll up a little bit, I'm not seeing anything all that weird. Crash report case number's not there. The driver's name is missing. See, this stuff is. Why don't they have the driver's name at least? Or the owner of the vehicles? Or vehicle, I should say. Driver full name is redacted. The owner's name is redacted. In this particular case, it's a two vehicle accident. Let's go to the next page. There's the diagram. It doesn't seem right to me. Why does it? Am I the one? Am I stupid or did it? I thought that this 18 wheeler was in the other lane. Did you guys think that? Auntie, look at the narrative. Okay, the narrative. It says, shit. Sorry. I wanna make this larger. Unit 1 was traveling north on I-65. Driver of Unit 1 fell asleep while operating his vehicle, causing it to leave the road on the left shoulder and overturned when re-entering the road. Unit 1 landed on its driver's side and it slid to a stop as shown in diagram. That would be right here. Driver of Unit 1 stated there was something wrong with Unit 1 causing it snatch and he had to keep adjusting the lane change malfunction feature on Unit 1. Driver of Unit 1 also stated that he don't know what happened after about 2 hours into the drive. So that 2 hours he's not aware of. Okay, Urban, I will. But this one here isn't downloaded to media player. That was just that Mercedes. This is baffling to me because I could have swore that 18-wheeler was in the other lane, in the right-hand lane, which is where Pillsbury was traveling. On this, you see where the hand is? This is the same exact narrative, and this is the same diagram as the Sprinter van. So why is it in the... This is some BS. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Oh, wait. Something is not right. Okay. That is, unless I screwed up somehow, I got the Sprinter. But this is the right one. This is a two vehicle collision, so let's get rid of that one. Jared 2, Alabama Uniform Traffic Crash Report. This is the Alabama Uniform Traffic Crash Report. This is a supplemental sheet. Let me check something out here. While you guys look at that real quick, let me look at something here. If something ain't right, and it might be me, you know. Okay, that was the wrong diagram. So the next page has the diagram. But if you guys look at this Alabama Uniform Traffic Crash Report, truck/bus supplemental sheet, we're looking at the 18-wheeler. We're not viewing the van. No, this is the 18-wheeler, hon. It is. It is crazy. It almost looked like they were meshed together, but I think that was my mistake. Either way it goes, it still doesn't seem right at all. At all. Okay. Okay, so look what this says, you guys. Under screening information, number of qualifying vehicles, trucks with more than 10,000 pounds or hazmat placard 1, sustaining fatal injuries 1, so buses designed to carry 9 or more, including driver, none. Transported for immediate medical treatment says 3. Didn't that first report say different? You see right here where it says transported for immediate medical treatment 3. But remember we looked at the other report for the Sprinter, and it said everybody was transported except for one person. Number of vehicles towed from the scene due to damage 2. Well, that makes sense because it's a two vehicle crash or accident. Huh. Cargo type, bus usage, general freight. This is confusing as heck. Something ain't right. There's something ain't right. The fact that they said transported for immediate medical treatment was only 3 people. That's not right. The other report said they all went. They were all transported except for one. It said NA. Yes, according to her report, she was in her seatbelt. That part. None of it makes sense. None of it. And see, we're hearing a whole lot of back and forth from people that weren't on the van, but then ain't nobody talking now. According to this report, real life, she never went to the hospital. It just said NA. Yes, you're right. It was done in a rush. No mention of Pillsbury's vehicle being on the side of the road. None of that. Exactly, I believe. This don't make sense. It makes no sense. Now, they've got all these codes and stuff. Got to go back and look at it and all this stuff, but this is some ain't right. Now, this is the legend. That's not even correct. This thing is tripping. It's mixing up everything. It's mixing up everything. It looks like I can't deal with this. Da, 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 da. Let's go to this here. Oh, stop it. According to that first report, it says that everybody was transported to the same hospital by the same carrier, except for one person. And that's based on what? The police didn't even get there before. How can they wait a minute? How can they investigate something that they were like 50 minutes late, if not longer, to even investigate it? They didn't. This is bull crap. I'm sorry. This is bull. Okay, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Sorry about that. Check this out. Let me pull up this diagram because for some reason this thing is not going page by page now. Okay. Okay, here's the diagram. according to this diagram, it has it riding. I mean, really? Do y'all see what I see? He's not even in the right lane or the left lane. He's riding down the middle, straight down the middle. Y'all see that? I mean, y'all see that though. They've got this cat literally riding on the line instead of in his lane. And then he swerves or hits. He hits the vehicle. He hit the vehicle because he was partially in that lane. Are they supposed to be on the outside lane or the inside lane? Meaning they supposed to be on the right lane or the left lane? Because this is two lanes going each direction. The Sprinter van had been traveling in this lane where the hand is. And according to this diagram, this 18-wheeler, unit number 2, is driving smack down in the middle between both lanes. This is some bull crap. And if that's the case, if they've got this diagram like this and he's driving down the middle lane, where's he at? Why did he get to walk away or drive away or get a Uber or whatever? Inside unless he's passing. Well, maybe he was trying to pass. I don't know. So he should be in the same lane as the Sprinter van was traveling. Is that true? Inside unless he's passing. I mean, the Sprinter van is literally laying in that lane. But I just find it awfully odd that the first report indicates that Angie was still in the vehicle. And everything is NA. Outside lane. That's what I thought, Charles. This is the outside lane right here, right? The right lane. But this joker was traveling right down the middle. And if that's the case, why is... Oh, shoot. Let me shut up. Okay, I'm going to read the narrative to you. Because this is giving me a headache. My goodness. Unit 1 was lying on its driver's side in the middle of the northbound lanes after being involved in a rollover crash. Unit 2 was traveling north on I-65 when it struck Unit 1 around the undercarriage near the front axle. This impact caused Unit 1 to rotate counterclockwise and come to rest as shown in the diagram. Driver of Unit 1 stated he was trying to pull passengers from the van as it was laying on its side when it was hit by Unit 2. Say what? Let me scroll this down. When Unit 2 struck Unit 1, the force lifted Unit 1 into the air, causing one of the passengers to exit the vehicle through a broken window. The passenger was pinned under Unit 1 and suffered fatal injuries during the crash. Hold up. You know this don't sound right, right? Exactly, Sean. That's what I'm thinking. But here's the thing that doesn't make sense to me. In that first report, in that very first report, everybody was accounted for in that first report, and they just based everything on about the first report as to what went on in the second report. They have no idea. I mean, they said she wasn't in the van. I mean, she was in the van, but it says that there was no that not applicable for transport. They didn't. Man, listen, this is pissing me off. Per this report, only three females. Angie was passenger number 3, basically. According to that first report, Angie was not transported to a medical facility. That's what that code meant. Not transported. In the section that says taken by, they tell you who does the transporting. It says N/A. There's no record of who transported her on that first report. Injury type was unknown. But if it happened in the second crash, how can you say that she was injured at all? No first aid was administered. Not ejected from the vehicle. That's the first report. Apparently they're trying to say that when the 18-wheeler hit it, it threw her out the vehicle. Exactly, Don. Oh my God. Y'all know this is some BS, right? I hate to say it. This is some straight up BS. And it goes right back to my point. Let me get this thing off of here before I throw this computer out of here. I'm so mad right now. It goes right to what I said before. They don't want us to know nothing. They don't treat us right. They don't investigate properly. They just walked up on the scene 50 minutes after the fact and just did a half-butt report. And if they're going according to their diagram of that 18-wheeler, that vehicle is in the wrong. Because according to that diagram, he's coming straight down the middle lane, in the middle of both lanes. So why was he not cited? Yes, they made 2 reports. This is report number 2. But from report number 1, they said Angie was there. Everything was considered not applicable when it came to her. When it came to Angie, the third passenger, taken to, not applicable. Taken by, not applicable. Injury type, unknown. So they're basically saying they didn't know if she was injured or not. They got some splaining to do. Exactly. I have no idea, Vivian. I didn't see anything. It says there was nothing in the let me look at this again. Let me see if there was anything in that 18 wheeler. Was he carrying anything in there? Doesn't say on here. Hazardous cargo release. Hazardous cargo pleasure placard cards. The emergency status. Type 34. I wonder if there was any contents. It doesn't even say on here. Let's see what else it says. Because this is the first time I'm looking at it as well. Light 4, weather 1, locale 1, police present no. They just threw this report together. They really did. They just threw this report together. Wow. And I can't look at this legend. It gives me a headache. Something is rotten in the town of Denmark. Something is definitely rotten in the town of Denmark. Okay. Not there. I'm going to have to download this again. So, you know what? Bottom line is this. They really did a piss poor job. They really did. They did a piss poor job. Yeah, I can't even pull it back up now. But I agree that I agree something needs to be done of in protest of how they really take the time to thoroughly investigate. Thank you, Eye of Crystal, for the $10 super sticker. She says, any way you can get an interview with Diamond. Nope. She's not giving no interviews. I spoke to her last night. No interviews. Yeah. Paperwork was making a joke about brown sugar because of D'Angelo. Wow. um oh, it was Domino sugar. Okay. Well, I didn't know it was I saw him say that too. I didn't know that's what he meant. I thought it really was brown sugar. I tell you the truth though. But again, I honestly believe that this is very indicative of how the police really don't take enough care when it comes down to us as a people. They don't respond. I mean, if you look at statistics on how they uh, respond to emergencies. Thank you, Charles. I got it. I did get it. Thank you, love. Uh, they don't do us right, and it's so obvious. It's so obvious. It's just like this, you know. It was still sugar and a diesel truck. I believe he's on to something. You leaving us, Charles? Well, you got to come back tomorrow night. You know, tomorrow night is game night. Sean, Pillsbury didn't help Angie out the Sprinter van. She didn't actually say anybody's name. She just said she helped a female out of that vehicle. But we don't know who it was or if she did at all. I guess I don't know. It wasn't Angie. It was not Angie. So no, she didn't help her out. So, ooh wee, that's enough to give anybody a headache, though. I mean to tell you. But we can look at this some more. I'm going to look at this in more in depth tonight if I can get rid of this headache, because I've been looking at reports all day. I've been looking at that all day, that first report. And there was just some things that just didn't sit right with me when they described Angie. You know, it was obvious it was Angie. And it didn't sit right with me. And at first I thought that there was no second report. I tried hard and finally found it, but I was about to say, wait a minute, they done hid the second report. Are we kidding now? Protected by God said, one thing we do know. One thing I do know is I can't find my cursor now. Where'd it go? Here it is. One thing we do know, God saw everything and he shall reveal everything real soon. I believe that to be true. I believe that to be true. Yes. Listen, is there anybody that want to come up and give your 2 cents about what you think happened here? Ain't nobody controlling the narrative. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't say. You know, let's just be respectful. You know, if you want to get up and say, you know, based on what you've seen today, what you think might have happened, you are entitled to your opinion, and nobody's going to tell you otherwise. Vivian said, I don't think any insurance payouts will happen. And this is messed up. I mean, the whole thing is just messed up. You're right, Faith. This whole thing is starting to be a circus. It's really starting to, ooh wee. The reports ain't right. They got more dudes on the Sprinter van than they were supposed to have. They shorted us on females. Just, it's one thing after another. Holly, you know what? That's true. I can hear that too. I can hear Paperwork singing the D'Angelo song in your head. Exactly, Millionaire's Cove. A person lost their life and they're just, oh well. Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. Yes. I wish Dr. Charles was here. Let's see. Holly said, but Mickey is not just the police. Exactly. It was the people that did the autopsy too. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it starts with the police, but it moves along to whoever it moves to next. That's the whole thing I'm trying to point out. It starts from the very beginning, and that nonchalant attitude. You know what I'm saying? They don't treat us the same. I'm just trying to tell the truth. I'm not sure when he's coming back from his vacation, Vivian. He said he was supposed to be gone a week. Yeah. LaWanda said, we should keep in mind of all those who lost loved ones and shout out to all those who have birthdays, family. Yes. That's a good idea, Lawanda. Anybody got a birthday coming in the month of June? If you've got a birthday coming in the month of June, put a number 1 in the chat. Ugh, so sorry. I'm sure they've got their concerns. Your sister who lives in Columbia, South Carolina? I said June, Eye of Crystal. Julia has a birthday in the month of June. Happy birthday, Julia. What day is it? I got a ghost in the house. I have no idea, Holly. I have no idea. Okay, I got you, Faith. Oops, sorry. Wait, hold on just a second. What am I doing? I done hit the wrong button. June 7th, huh? All right, happy birthday in advance, Julia. June 7th, happy birthday in advance. Yes, Father's Day is coming up as well. Exactly, you're absolutely right, Holly. And they've got to make them less complicated, that's for sure. Hey, Charles.
What's going on?
Oh, not much. Ain't nothing but a chicken wing right now. I could
Yeah,
use
I'm
a
sitting,
chicken
I'm
wing.
trying to watch 3 things at one time.
Oh.
It's 2 basketball games, women and men. But
Uh-huh.
I just want to say this. I know there's some shady stuff going on, but I really believe that was an accident that went wrong.
Absolutely.
It was an accident.
Yeah.
But all that it's still a lot of underhand stuff, beginning with Lethal. Lethal is the main
Exactly.
culprit of the whole thing.
Exactly.
If he wasn't driving and doing all this, I don't know what his motives was. That's why I'm saying allegedly, but it was an accident gone bad because I done looked at it step by step.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to go this way.
I concur. I agree with you.
I
I don't.
disagree. And
I'm
this is
sorry.
why I disagree with that,
Okay.
Charles. And this is why I disagree. Because he had too much involvement with everything that was wrong. Okay. From even booking her on that the show that she did.
Okay.
That show wasn't supposed to be booked. That was one of those fill-in show things. She wasn't originally supposed to be booked for that. And that came up from Stone.
Okay.
Okay. So all of this quick stuff to get her to hurry up, to be able to make that event, all that was planned because she couldn't take time to just really sit down, get her money together, get a driver so she can be able to do these things.
Right. Right.
That event and that other event at the school were some events that wasn't booked for her. Though these were just money grab events.
Okay.
So
Okay, check this out. Okay, go ahead.
so by those being money grab events like that, they knew she was needed money. Okay. As an artist, and I say a seasoned artist as Angie was, I don't think she would operate like that. You get what I'm saying? Because it gives her no time. But because of who she is, she's just gonna make it happen.
Right. Well,
And
that
that's why
and her financial difficulty as well.
exactly. And that's why
Yeah.
I said that this all
Okay,
this was
let me
from the
respond to that when you
beginning.
finish. Okay, check this out. If you follow this all the way through from the beginning, okay, Lethal has a this is what he does. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is my and I don't looked at the evidence. This is what Lethal does. He does insurance frauds. That is his MO. And
Mhm.
and from the evidence that I'm seeing, just like that accident with D'Angelo, when he was in the passenger side, supposedly.
Mhm.
But and then you look at the evidence from the Sprinter van, the insurance he had on it, the guy in jail that owned it, it was an insurance fraud. And right now, allegedly, this is my theory, and with nobody talking, everybody want to get paid. That's why I say that this was an accident gone wrong.
Mhm. Well, can I add something to that? And
Yeah.
I'm going to throw the word allegedly in there because I haven't found the proof yet. But I've been told that Lethal was involved in yet another fatality accident in 2021.
Yeah. That's his motive.
That's what I've been told. I just have not yet received or been able to locate the location of that uh, fatality accident. If you don't have the correct information, it's hard to get any information if you don't have the necessary information.
And
So,
everything
but
I
that's
said
what
is
I've been
alleged.
told.
Yeah. And everything
Yes.
I said is allegedly because he could have fell asleep. I don't know. I wasn't there,
Well, see, that's
but
the odd thing. That see
I'm
now
just
that's
following the
very
pattern.
odd to me.
Right.
The He says he can't recollect 2 hours of the drive, basically, not the two. See, a lot of people seem to think that he's referring to 2 hours after the crash, and that's not what that report said. It said that he doesn't recall what happened 2 hours into the drive. You understand
Okay.
what I'm
Oh,
saying? 2 hours. You don't know what happened for 2 hours while you're driving? The report says he fell asleep at the wheel,
oh, that's what the
but
report said?
that's what the report said for the Sprinter van. It said that he fell asleep at the wheel. But like Vivian said, he's missing 2 hours, but after leaving the concert, or when we say leaving the concert, Vivian, are you saying from the concert to the hotel? Are you referring to from the hotel to on the road? That's where it's not clear. But he's saying that he can't recall 2 hours into the drive, basically.
That's bull crap. Who can't who
Who
don't miss
loses two
who
hours
does that?
while driving?
Yeah, but still, who does that? I drive. I don't miss no 2 hours.
I mean, exactly. It
Well,
doesn't make
see,
sense.
and this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. You
Hmm.
have to, in order to set up or whatever insurance or whatever he was doing, it was something set up from there before then. Okay, this was just not set her up. And we're gonna do this insurance thing and make money that way. It
Hmm.
just wasn't that, and that's why when you look at it at short like that, you're not gonna come up with the right answers. But if you look at it from the long standpoint,
Uh-huh.
then you can find some answers because it'll all come together exactly how it played out.
Uh-huh.
So no,
Uh,
it's not gonna look like it played out from an insurance fraud. You get what I'm
mhm.
saying?
Exactly.
It's not gonna look. It is gonna look just like it's looking. Everybody going around going around in
Saying it
circles,
was an accident. Yeah.
and it's an accident. And we they just don't know how it happened, how it could have
Right.
happened like that. But if you
Right.
look at the long play of it,
Yeah.
You can fill in the blank.
But see, the filling in of the blanks is allegedly. It's a
Well,
whole lot of
it's
innuendo and
but allegedly, looking at the reports, you don't know who was transported where because you
exactly.
cannot see names. So it's
Not only
still
that, it
so
says
it's still
they were
allegedly.
all transported by the same form of transportation except for Angie.
Okay, so
It's saying that
does it
they
say who?
all it
Okay,
says they
but
all were they said that they
who?
were all transferred, they were all taken to Baptist Southern
Mhm.
Hospital and they were all taken by care ambulance. But when it comes to Angie, which it's clear that this is Angie, the passenger number 3, her information says taken to N/A, taken by N/A, injury
But
type 99, which means unknown, and of course the gender was a female.
Mhm.
First aid administered, none.
Mhm.
And it also indicates not ejected or trapped. But
Okay, so
once
it can't
again
be
they're
Angie
referring
then. It can't be Angie then because it don't say her name and it does not say fatality.
exactly. It doesn't say fatality for anybody on here.
Exactly, and the
This is the
driver,
Sprinter van.
right, and the driver, it does not say who the driver was. That that's
No, it does. It's lethal.
it.
It is
It does say
lethal.
that. I thought his
Yes.
name was okay. So does it say Dante was in the passenger seat?
No.
You see
They
what I'm
don't give.
saying?
See, I had to pull. I pulled up this report under his name, and this is the report that came up. The They did two separate uh accident reports, or
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying. Bye, baby. See you later. See you when you get home. Sorry
Well,
about that.
it looks like they amended the report that they did.
You know what it looks like is that they tried to throw it all together and figure it out off the
Yeah,
top of their head. That's exactly what they did because
but
they did this first report. But oh, paperwork party's in the room. Hold tight. Hello, paperwork party.
I want some more brown sugar.
He's alright. He's alright.
Hey, Auntie Mickey, what's up, Auntie Mickey?
How you doing? How you doing? I'm trying to hold my own.
Ah, you doing good? You doing good? Keep your head up. Stay in the game. Get the
Thank you.
information in. You need any paperwork? Let me know. And just you got just stay in there. You doing real good.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm struggle streaming, but I'm trying to do my best.
Already, that's what's up. Yeah, it's two different reports, and there's a
Right.
lot of things that the people in the crowd may know. They can answer those questions, but if you got any questions for me, just let me know. You can hit me up on Instagram, and I can probably send you anything you see what I'm saying you need. But I'm just enjoying my vacation right now.
I know that's right. Well, all I need from you is an email address if you have one. Because I don't
Paperwork
have yours.
party. Let me see. Paperwork party network at gmail.com. Paperwork party network at gmail.com.
Okay. I'm gonna write that down. Paperwork party network at
Yeah,
gmail.com.
at
Okay.
gmail.com.
Okay.
Already. So do what you do. You're doing a good job. Stay with it. You see what I'm saying? Keep the panel going. Keep Angie's name alive.
Amen.
I'll be back in a little bit. I'm supposed to be meeting with some people here in a little bit. I'm on my
Okay.
vacation enjoying it. I love you. I love the crowd. I love everybody. So
Thank you so much, paperwork.
already. And I didn't know that what had happened. I just seen that episode. Somebody sent it to me. So I really that's kind of fucked up what happened, but we'll talk about that one day. But I really,
Absolutely.
I'm praying for you so you can make a quick comeback, and I'm praying that your page, I'm talking about, reach the level that you wanted to reach.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you stopping by. That means a lot to me.
Already, no problem. All right, I'm finna jump back in the bushes, man. Y'all be good. Brown
All
sugar,
right.
let's go.
All right, dear.
yeah.
Thank you. Gmail.com.
He's something else. He's special.
Okay, he's something else. He
But
came in
but
singing it.
I do have to say this.
Mhm.
His tactics are strong, but you have to have strong tactics to get information that they won't give you because they're not giving you information for a reason.
Uh-huh.
So
Right,
that's why
right.
he goes about and do it the way that he knows to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get the
Yeah.
information, because
Yeah.
the thing that the other man was using, the LexisNexis, that's good for finding people, finding their assets, and looking for them. You know, and I know that because I've done that. I've sent people to litigation. So, and I used that particular program, so I know exactly what he was doing. Okay,
Okay.
but he has to use that. You have to find certain leads and you have to follow certain leads. And it does not mean all leads are connected, what he think is connected together, because that name might not be the same. It might not be the same person, but have the same name. So that's why you have to dig in deep and make sure that you have the right person. And just giving out information that didn't connect, a lot of that was happening. So now we're looking at a lot of stuff that we've already was
Went
told
over.
that's not correct information.
Right.
And then
Right.
we're trying to go over this report now that you got it in your hands and you can see it for yourself and you can follow along with it. The shit just don't add up. Excuse me.
Oh, that's okay. Look, I've had a few cuss words myself today. Trust me.
It's not adding up now that you have that in your hand and you can see it for yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's not adding up to what we had already been told. And we're following something that we had been told. Now that you see, it is not accurate information.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? Now,
I mean, just looking at the diagram from the second report, they've got that 18-wheeler literally going down the middle line, not in a lane, but down the middle line. Of course it's going to hit them.
And you never seen that because you only got quick glimpse of the paperwork. So you were never able to see it for yourself so you can understand exactly what's been happening. So he spent his own narrative on it. Not that he didn't have some information, but he put his thing on it. But now that you have it for yourself and can see it, it's like, this don't look right, you know? And why couldn't he send that to you if y'all working together so you can understand it? You see what I'm saying? Now this whole thing is a mess because we've already got some information that wasn't real information.
Right. Well,
and now that you're seeing this information, it's all is a cluster F. And you know what that F means.
Exactly. Oh, honey, I use it often. I try not to have a foul mouth on the screen.
And that's why I said the F.
Man, sometimes
because that's
I
how
let go and let
is.
God shoot.
But the thing is, Mickey, you were bought on this for a reason. The integrity of this. Now you can allow the integrity of this to go and not keep spreading that mess that they were trying to put together. But you see what they're doing now.
Yes.
You know, and I really hope that if he's not doing what he's doing for the right reasons, that God will just stop him before, because that young lady does not need any harm to come to her no more than it has already come to her.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not bashing anybody because I'm not the one to judge. But wrong is wrong, right is right, and you got to call it out.
That's right.
You know, and that's
Absolutely.
and that's the only way that we're, you know, that we can get where we're trying to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
we can't move ahead with all that drama.
We can't. And it's not going to let us go anywhere. We're going to be in the vomit with him. You know, if we play in the and that's what I said on the last live that I was on the panel. You know, if you play in the devil's den, where you going to be? Doing devil's work.
That's true.
And you see what's going on?
You know, grace and mercy only go so far.
Hey.
Bible says that runs out.
Hey, and God only give you grace when you wanting it. When you doing, God help those who help themselves in the good way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's where your
Absolutely.
grace come in. When you're not trying to do things right, and you don't get grace.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
answer to all the wrongness that you're doing, and
Yeah.
his ran out. But
Mhm.
and also with this investigation, because we know it's a whole bunch of mess in it. This
Yeah.
is the time, the protesting. You know, this
That
is
part.
where the protesting steps in. I know the family.
Mhm.
I know she have other family members
Mhm.
that are willing to stand up for what's right.
Yes, I agree.
And
I
so
agree.
by having those other family members to
Mhm.
join in with us on
Mhm.
getting answers, is this an open investigation? Are they really investigating this to try
Right.
to find criminal acts, or are
Or are
they
they
just
just pacifying
or
us?
are they just pacifying us? This
Mhm.
is where you have to go in and start, and you
Mhm.
start by hitting your precinct,
Right.
asking them
Right.
about the investigation. And if they tell
Absolutely.
you that there is an ongoing investigation,
Mhm.
okay, well, we know there is an ongoing investigation, but we
Mhm.
still keep Angie's name alive. Just don't let it
Absolutely.
slide, you know?
Absolutely.
So it'll make
Yeah.
them still work on it.
Yeah.
And then when they're not doing anything, then that's
Mhm.
when you start with your local, and then you go to your state. It's a chain of command that you have to follow in order
Right.
to get the uh the answers that you need.
Mhm. Well, it all
And
starts with us. It all starts with us.
well, we're already here. We've already
Yeah.
just started. But
Mhm.
because of the bad deeds that has been happening, is trying to throw a monkey wrench in the ones that have integrity to do the right thing.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
We're not benefiting from a radio station. We're not benefiting from any of that stuff.
Mhm.
We are women of color that
Mhm.
see that there's something wrong,
Yeah.
and it needs to be something, and it needs to stop.
Right.
The
Can
George
we?
Floyd situation.
Yeah, that was bad. That was
But
bad too.
that 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 situation, they didn't even tell you the full story
No,
of that. And we were protesting that, not even understanding the real story.
but you
Had
could
we
see the
been
wrong. You could see
had
the
we
wrong.
yeah, had we been told the whole story of what was going on, I don't think it would have been a George Floyd statue. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be mean and ugly,
Mhm.
but had we known what had been going on from the beginning,
Uh-huh.
you don't protest when somebody is wrong. You
Right.
protest when somebody is doing the right thing and was done wrong.
Right. Right. Can we get Eye of Crystal to come up and let her have a word? She's been patiently waiting. Faith, don't
Oh,
go nowhere.
I didn't even know it. My other phone went away, so I couldn't see the comments. I'm sorry. Go ahead, I
Oh, that's
Crystal. I'm
okay,
sorry.
sweetie. Hang out with me, though. You can stay up
Okay,
here if you like.
okay.
Go ahead, Eye of Crystals. Can you hear me, love?
It probably kicked her off too.
I
You
hope
hear me?
not. Oh,
There you
now
go.
I do. Now I do.
Okay. Hello, Auntie Vicky. Hello,
Hi.
chat. Hello, Faith.
Hey.
Yeah, I just want to circle back because I was kind of driving, so I kind of missed some of the. I came on the end of the conversation, but I wanted to mention that I recall Sheila in her interview.
Hmm.
She mentioned that uh, Angie had rehearsal with her band members for like 3 days straight prior to that
Oh
last
my
performance,
goodness. Uh-huh.
and that she was in good spirits. She said she really couldn't pinpoint what she was seeing, but she felt like Angie was in good spirits. She said it was something that she's never seen before and it was different. So I think we should
Hmm.
review her
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 interview.
interview.
Hmm.
Yeah, because that kind of resonated with me,
Hmm.
as
You
if to
know,
me, as if she knew something,
something.
you know,
Well,
that her
she
days were
definitely
numbered.
knew something. She definitely knew something. She said it right there in that live she did. She said, "I don't know how they coming for me."
Right.
Am I the only one that heard that? Did y'all hear that too?
No,
What a
she
week.
said, I don't know how, but they are. She said, I know that they are. But
Mhm.
if you being spiritual, when you know it's your time, I
You come
believe
to
the
peace.
you come to peace, and
Yeah,
God will show you because you have that relationship. You
yeah,
know, He will
yeah.
show you that it's your time. That's like
Right.
when my grandparents passed away.
Uh huh.
They were both they were doing stuff that they shouldn't have been doing.
Uh
you know
huh.
and when
But
I say shouldn't have been doing, they hadn't been able to do it.
Right, right.
And
But
then all of a
they
sudden they got this
mustered
burst of
up the strength.
energy.
Yes.
Yes, they got this burst of energy and they started doing things. And then all of a sudden they were gone. And
Yeah.
I think, Eye of Crystal, I think that's just what Sheila was talking about.
Uh huh.
And even in that concert, if you look her last concert,
Uh huh.
she was in one spot, but she was grooving, she was rocking, and she
Right.
kept on beat. She didn't have to sit down or nothing. So she
Uh
had
huh.
that energy to do that concert, even though she had dialysis that day.
Yeah.
And if you're on dialysis, people
It
are weak.
weakens you. Yeah, it
They
weakens you
can't even stay
tremendously.
up they can't even stay up the whole day. But for her to be up there really energetic and can do it,
Right.
it's like she got that burst of energy
Right. Well,
because
even in that video that I showed, even though she had to sit down, you could
hmm
tell as they were helping her up the steps how weak she was. And that was in the summer before
hmm
she even got sick from that blood poisoning. You could tell then that she wasn't well, but she still had that unction about her, that she was about her fans,
hmm
you know, and she was about her money as well. Let's be real about it. If you're having financial difficulty, you're going to take every opportunity to
no, you're not, because
do what you got to do.
our money ain't good money, and she
That
knew
may be
that.
true, but in the same token, I mean, if you're struggling
Yeah.
and something comes available and you're able to take it, you know,
And
um,
I think that's how they got her
uh-huh,
to
but
take
but
that.
but Faith and
Go
Auntie
ahead.
Mickey, I think that
hmm
um, in terms of Angie knowing when her time was getting close,
hmm
I think it's, in my opinion, I think it's more in regards to her health
hmm
versus someone, orchestrating her demise,
mhm,
because
Correct.
she was
mhm,
really, she had she talked about it, throughout her career, her health issues.
mhm,
hmm
And, I think at that point, at 63, she's gone through a lot, like we all know from what we've heard and what we've read.
mhm.
Her body went through a lot.
It
And
hmm
sure
she
did.
probably, and even though she was basically on top of her game at that time, because she had so
Mhm,
many different opportunities that were right at her feet that
mhm,
she
hmm
was going to be engaging in.
mhm.
Um, I kind of agree with Charles that the accident, that Angie passing away was an accident that went
hmm
bad. That's
I,
my after.
And
It's
I
I
and to add
and
to that,
and but and the reason why I say that is because it's
mhm.
still somebody's fault. Because
yes,
someone's
Exactly.
at fault, someone needs to be held accountable.
hmm
Because if that person was not neglectful
hmm
in the
exactly,
assignment that he had, then she
exactly,
would still be walking this earth.
exactly.
Okay. Now since Auntie got the report, and
Mhm,
I'm very familiar with insurance.
mhm.
He didn't have
Right.
enough coverage on that Sprinter van.
That's true. Now that I
So,
don't have that information available to pick through,
hmm
but I see what you're saying. It
he
doesn't make sense.
it does
But
not make any sense.
I think he was planning to see, here's the thing about
hmm
insurance fraud when it comes to
hmm
vehicular insurance fraud.
hmm
It's been going on for a long time. But
Mhm.
generally, it's done with small motor vehicles. One car sets up another car. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Kind of
Mhm.
corners them out, so to speak, and then causes an accident. And that's where they get the insurance situation.
Correct.
Um, when you think about an 18 wheeler and the company that that guy was driving for,
Mhm.
there's two questions I have. Was the driver of that 18 wheeler in on it?
Mhm.
Or was he part of the setup? You see what I'm saying?
Mhm. I
Either way
understand
it
it. Mhm.
goes, it's nefarious to say the
Mhm.
least. Now, if it was, now, and I'm just speaking off the top of my head, if it is an insurance fraud situation and he sees in his rear view that there's an 18 wheeler back there, and now's my opportunity to hit this big payday and make that company at fault. Because again, if you look at that accident report, that 18 wheeler was not in his lane.
Okay. Now
Well, you know
look at
that. Go ahead, Faith.
look at this from um
But I wasn't
standpoint.
quite finished.
Okay, go
Hold
ahead.
that thought. Hold that thought.
Okay.
If that's the case, if the 18 wheeler was in on it, so to speak, that would pretty much tell you why he quit. Okay.
Okay. Now look.
That 15,000 might have paid him off.
Okay.
I'm
Now
just saying, just
let me
a
say this.
scenario.
Okay. Now that's that scenario, and I
Hmm.
understand that. But listen to this scenario. Okay. Would you put your life at risk for an 18 wheeler to hit you and kill you for insurance fraud?
Lethal would, because
He
he's a stunt driver.
well, he wouldn't put everybody in the van at risk for them losing their lives.
I wouldn't think so.
Right. So that means now listen to this. That means he's not counting on the 18 wheelers insurance because that's where the $1 million policies are.
Yeah.
He's not looking at that. He's not risking his life for the 18 wheeler to hit them to lose any life. Like Charles said, I don't think that it was meant to um demise Angie. You
No.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think it
I
was
don't
meant for
think,
that to happen. No.
but the insurance part of it, he did not have enough coverage on that
On that
sprinter.
vehicle.
He
But if
did
he
not.
can blame if he can somehow blame the 18 wheeler
Now, if he can blame
and
the
go
18
after that
wheeler,
company.
yeah, but coming fast like that and like Tracy Morgan, he almost lost his life.
Exactly.
So I don't think he would put himself in that kind of risk for an 18 wheeler going 55 to 60 miles per hour
Hmm.
to hit you to not to hurt you. You
Hmm.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's
Now
still
that flip,
it, I can't really say for sure where his mindset is, to be truthful about it, because he could be a caring individual, or he could be a I don't give a damn individual.
yeah,
I
but are
mean,
you gonna
because
put your life at risk? Even though he's a stunt driver, but are you gonna put your life at risk for an 18 wheeler to hit you
I
and kill
wouldn't,
you?
I
Well,
wouldn't.
nobody in their right mind, and he might you might not think he's in his right mind, but he's a criminal. So
True.
he's in a criminal mind, but he's not in a criminal suicidal ooh or take out. I'm sorry, I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but delete yourself
Uh huh.
kind of person. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't benefit him none to take himself out. How you gonna
No,
get
but I
money?
don't think this ain't his first rodeo. This ain't Lethal's first rodeo. He's
It's
been
not, but
involved in other
gonna
accidents.
set yourself up for an 18 wheeler to
You're a
run you
normal
over.
person, but we're talking about Lethal. He's not normal.
Yeah.
He's not normal.
He don't know how that van is gonna flip and set in that position. Okay. It's more to this whole thing
Mhm.
than just that. Because
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense
that's
at
just the tip of
all.
the iceberg right there.
Right. And
Yeah.
that insurance that he had on that Sprinter, he could not get insurance,
Hmm.
uh, commercial insurance, because the airbags didn't work, and you saw
Hmm.
that because they didn't deploy.
It wasn't that they didn't work; they weren't turned on.
What do you mean?
There, according to the report. Oops, I'm sorry. Neither one of the airbags were deployed. One
Okay.
said no switch, and the other one said switch on. So the switch was on one of them, but one of them wasn't even turned on to go off in the first place.
Well, anything
And that was the one on his side.
the one on his side was turned off
It
or turned on.
says it says not deployed, no switch.
So what that
And the
says
one on the
is
other
no
side
switch.
was airbag not deployed, switch
That,
on.
that means that those airbags were malfunctioning, and that's why he couldn't get insurance on them, and that's why he couldn't use it as a commercial vehicle. They will
Mhm.
not insure you if you cannot use your airbag.
Well,
But
there's a lot
as
of things that shouldn't happen. I mean, he shouldn't have been able to operate that company. I mean, the guy that owns the company is in prison.
well, he
So
wasn't operating it as a commercial vehicle. And that's the thing. He wasn't using it as a commercial vehicle. He was just using it as a get around car for
as a
himself.
passenger vehicle,
Yes, he wasn't
yeah.
supposed to be driving people around.
Mhm.
And that's why he couldn't get insurance, a commercial policy, because it was not regulated for a commercial policy. They would
I
not give him a commercial policy.
yeah.
You
I,
see what I'm
I I
saying?
understand absolutely. I understand what you're
Okay.
saying, but
And with that being
again,
said, he didn't have enough coverage
I understand
on.
that too.
Okay. So
Uh,
why would he now insurance fraud now? I'm just
mhm.
saying, and just go ahead with me on it. If you are insured with $100,000 policy and you have 9 people in your vehicle
Mhm.
and they get seriously injured, who is it gonna fall back on? Because you're not gonna get any money from the insurance company because you got 9 people in the vehicle.
Well, that's just it. I mean, if you're of the mindset to go after the truck that hits you, instead of taking the responsibility yourself, you see what I'm saying? I think he was playing both sides of the coin, so to speak.
But if you
I
fell
believe he was
asleep,
trying to go after the 18 wheeler.
but
I
if you
think that it
already
was.
put in the report that you fell asleep, you can't go after the 18-wheeler. You are at fault.
Yeah, well, that's just it. He said too many contradictory things. He said
Exactly.
that he was outside of the vehicle helping people out when the 18 wheeler came along. So,
Is that in the police report?
yes,
That is in the police report.
that's in the second report, if I'm not mistaken. It's
So
in
the
one of
first,
these two.
so the first report was him,
It was just the sprinter van.
just a sprinter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up again.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it on my iPad because it's hard to pull it up on this thing.
Okay.
Eye of Crystal, if you could go ahead and talk while I'm looking this up, I'll. Oh, hold on. Let me also pull up Charles. He wants to come up
Yeah,
because this
sometimes
is a
we have
good
to
thing
play
to
the
talk
devil's
about.
advocate and play both sides of the coin.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, meaning that it could have been just an accident,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and of course he was negligent in how in regards to insurance, like you were saying, Faith.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the stories are going back and forth because he wasn't legit from the jump. So he's trying to confuse the
Mhm.
issue
Mm-hmm.
because there was a band. Angie Stone's band was in the van,
Mhm.
which is a big
Mm-hmm.
deal, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which is another problem because you were driving a celebrity
A
and
celebrity.
you didn't have your ducks in a row. He took the
Business.
chance
Mhm.
on this short trip, thinking that everything was going to be fine. And then, according to the report, I guess that Auntie Mickey said he fell asleep.
Why would
You
you
know,
tell
which I have a hard
them?
time believing.
Exactly. Why would you tell them you went to sleep if you was
It's
doing it? That's what
yeah,
I'm talking about. Mm-hmm.
you're just
Okay.
admitting to
Mm-hmm.
negligence.
Yeah.
It's your
Here,
fault. The
let me
driver is
tell you
always at fault.
let me tell you what the first report says for the Sprinter van by itself. Okay. Let me see. I gotta pick the right one. Okay. The narrative says Unit 1 was traveling north on I-65. Driver of Unit 1 fell asleep while operating his vehicle, causing it to leave the road on the left shoulder and overturned when re-entering the road. Unit
Mm-hmm.
1 landed on its driver's side and slid to a stop as shown in the diagram. Driver number 1 stated there was something wrong with Unit 1 causing it snatch, and he had to keep adjusting the lane change malfunction feature on Unit 1. Driver of Unit 1 also stated that he don't know what happened after about 2 hours into the drive.
Mm-hmm. That's
He
driving
doesn't
from the venue to where he
Then,
that's the 2 hours they're talking about. That's what
then
that
he should have. Then he should have pulled over. He should have
right.
stopped that vehicle if it was not operating correctly.
Yeah,
well,
he
he just
says
lied. Now
he
because
don't know
this
what happened after about 2 hours.
okay.
Exactly.
After
So no matter
about
how you,
2 hours.
yeah, no
I
matter how
drove for
you look
2
at it,
hours. Yeah, he's still wrong.
But
yeah,
but
that part.
listen to what he said. He said that he fell asleep
Mm-hmm.
and veered off the road.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the Mercedes, it was trying to redirect him back on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to say because it was trying to redirect him to get back on the road, he's trying to say that that was a malfunction. He don't know what it was doing because it wasn't doing what he was trying to make it do.
Is it possible that he might have wanted to go after Mercedes?
That that now that is a different thing because now he can say that it was a malfunction. But
Exactly.
but it didn't malfunction. And that box showed that it wasn't a malfunction.
Thank you.
So okay. I understand.
So,
I see that. I
But
so
didn't
not only
okay.
that. I mean, if the car is taking control, I guess, if you will, right? Is that what
Mhm.
we're saying? That the car was taking control, the van was taking control. He should just let it do what it needed to do
Exactly.
versus trying to combat whatever the steering mechanism was. Because
right.
I still don't understand how the van flipped.
That's just it.
That's
I
where I'm
Do
still stuck
that.
at after all these months. What has it been?
Do that
90
and
days?
come
I don't
back.
know.
Hmm.
I still
I
don't
It's
understand how
top
that van
heavy.
flipped.
It's top
I
heavy.
understand how it flipped. I know exactly how it flipped. He kind of what you call it over um
Overcompensated.
yep. And then it flipped
Overcompensated.
and he hit that brake and it went bloop. That's
Here, let me
exactly
pull
how
up
it flipped.
Charles. Hey, Charles.
Is it
Hey,
that
hey,
easy
hey,
for
hey.
it to go blue, Faith?
Yeah,
I
my
mean,
question is,
When you're fighting it the way that he was fighting
damn,
it, it was trying to overcorrect it.
Hmm.
He was
that's why I
trying
flipped.
exactly, and that's what I was trying to explain to her.
And
And
as a
Okay, I
trained
got a
stunt
question.
man, he knew that would happen as a
yes,
trained stunt man.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we seem to be leaving this tractor trailer guy out. You know, it ain't enough being talked about him.
You talking about the one with the splashers on?
No, I'm talking about the
Oh,
driver
the
of the
18
tractor
wheeler.
trailer that quit his job the next day.
That guy. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
That's
mean,
why I
who
pulled
does?
the report on him.
Right? Who does that if it
Well,
Is
ain't nothing going on?
okay, so is that a true
Wait a
fact
minute.
or
Wait.
or was that? Is
Yeah,
that
he quit his job. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
he
fact.
did quit. He did quit his job. He walked into the office and put the keys down on the counter and said, "I quit," and walked out.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
haven't heard from him since.
Sense.
Okay,
And there
so
should be,
so
and there
Charles,
should be, and there should be a report on him. He should have gave some kind of report somewhere, some kind of statement that should be found of what went on.
Charles,
see
do
if
you
he
know
went to the
what
hospital.
day that was when he turned in
That
his
was,
keys?
it was like a couple of days later.
I
This
was
happened on the
actually, I saw a video of a coworker stating that he
right.
came in directly after the accident. Once all that investigate, or what, I won't even call that an investigation.
Yeah,
Once they cut him loose from the accident, he went
yeah. The
directly.
next day.
Okay.
He
But
went
that
directly to
that
his
guy has
job.
that the guy has told several stories on different sites. I mean, on different channels too.
Who?
So
That
he
coworker.
That co-worker, that supposedly the truck driver that said that he worked for the same company,
Yeah.
he was questioned, and he didn't told several stories. So he don't
Where
know
you
if
see?
the guy, huh?
so
Where you
so
see
let's
this
just,
at?
What?
Where you see this at?
On different. He came on the other guy's platform, and then
what
he
other
went
guy?
the other guy that we not mentioning. We
I don't remember that because I
Come
didn't
on.
seen every last one
yes,
of these
he
episodes.
did. His name is Aston.
What's his name? What's his name?
What Aston is
Wow.
Aston or something like that. That
Hmm.
guy, you know,
Yeah.
he's a truck driver. He came on his platform and
Wait,
he was saying a bunch
the
of
Wait
stuff.
a
you talking about the driver of the 18-wheeler?
He's not the
No,
driver of
his
the
his
18
his
wheeler.
boss.
He was an employee of the same trucking company.
Oh, that guy. Okay, he's the
Yeah,
one that
so
You know
said that the
that?
guy quit.
I didn't
yeah.
see that. I didn't see that live.
I
Me
didn't
neither.
either.
Oh, go find it. It's down there, and he couldn't, because he was saying things that he shouldn't have been saying, adding extra stuff. Then he wouldn't. He told him that he couldn't talk. I mean, he couldn't say that because he wasn't given correct
So he was.
information. He was
So
You
just
know,
Hey,
given
hey,
in
hearsay
my heart,
information.
I think that guy is innocent. I think he
can I?
found out that he got in an accident with a celebrity. He
And
found
got
out who it was
traumatized.
and just ran away.
Can I say something real quick
go
before I
ahead.
forget?
This your channel.
Faith,
Yeah,
was
boss lady.
was that?
It's your channel.
Thank
Your
you.
channel. It's your channel.
Listen, y'all gonna make me crack
Forgot.
up. Listen, did that other individual actually interview that man, or did he just say, "I
I don't
can't
believe he
talk to him
interviewed him.
because he's come out with different stories or whatever"?
I
Was
don't
it?
know.
I mean, because I didn't see a live where he talked to that
Me
guy.
neither at all.
Okay,
Me
So
neither.
go look at him. His name is Encino,
I
the
don't want
truck
to look that.
guy.
Encino, and you're
And
saying that Tony did a live, did an interview with Encino?
he didn't do an interview. He came up on the panel.
Oh, that could have been anybody.
No, he was in the chat and he came up on the panel.
But Asino, Faith,
Mhm.
Asino is the content creator that went out to the site
Yeah,
where the
and he's
accident
the
happened.
Yeah,
That's a
he is
yeah,
different
the
yeah.
person.
creator. That was
That's a
the guy
different
that
person.
That
paperwork
wasn't
sent
yeah.
out. That was
So
the
that
guy
he's
that
not the
paperwork sent out.
okay. So he's not the truck driver that said that
No,
he drives for that
No,
same company.
no.
no,
No,
no.
he's
This
not the
no.
one that. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so it might be a different
Ancio. Yeah,
who.
that More to Life. She's got More to Life has the correct name.
Okay,
Ancio, the creator, is his name.
Yeah, he
He's a
works in
content
paperwork.
creator, and
Yeah, he works with
get out.
paperwork. He's on
Yeah,
the
he's
okay,
out
ground.
there for
okay.
paperwork.
Well, this guy came on the panel. This is
Uh-huh.
who I'm talking about. Came on that other
That's
guy.
who it is.
This other guy came on and said that he was a truck driver. He works for the trucking company, and
Uh-huh.
at any time, the trucking company, they're at fault because he's a professional driver and he should not have ran into that vehicle.
Yeah, I
He
remember
should have
that.
seen
All
that,
the
Yeah,
more
and he
reason
But that
said
wasn't
for them to go after
CRST.
the
it wasn't.
18-wheeler.
No,
It
it
wasn't a
wasn't.
trucking company though.
No, it wasn't.
wasn't.
It was just
This
somebody
just was some
just
guy. Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
just
and
telling his
CO,
expertise based on him being a truck
Yes,
driver,
yes,
not
right,
yes.
the
but he
truck
wasn't
driver.
the actual
That he
driver.
worked for that trucking company.
No, he
Right, and
He
he's
didn't.
told
No,
trucking
No, he
company.
worked for a trucking
a
company.
he worked for
company.
a truck company. He did not work for that trucking company.
Right, but he says that automatically the trucking companies are at
Uh-huh.
fault because they're
Yeah.
supposed to. But see, that's just it. Now that makes it even more the reason why Lethal would target an 18 wheeler because they're always at fault. If that's the case, if that's true. But see, we can't take Ansio's um, narrative as set in gold just because he works for a trucking company.
As a
But
matter of fact, that guy might have been my friend because I bought a friend. My friend is a tractor trailer driver, and I bought him on the panel
uh,
one day. I bought him on the panel, and he said the same thing that you just said, Mickey. That Crystal just said. He's a professional tractor trailer driver,
uh-huh.
and I bought him on the panel.
Right.
Let me read you the narrative that they have for the second report, which is covering the 18 wheeler. Unit 1, which would be the Sprinter van, was lying on its driver's side in the middle of the northbound lanes after being involved in a rollover crash. Unit 2, which
Mm-hmm.
would be the 18 wheeler, was traveling north on I 65 when it struck Unit 1 around the undercarriage near the front axle. This
Mm-hmm.
impact caused Unit 1 to rotate counterclockwise and come to rest as shown in the diagram.
Mm-hmm.
Driver of Unit 1 stated he was trying to pull passengers from the van as it was laying on its side when it was hit by
Mm-hmm.
Unit 2.
Mm-hmm.
When Unit 2 struck Unit 1, the force lifted Unit 1 into the air, causing one of the passengers to exit the vehicle through a broken window. The passenger was pinned under Unit 1 and
Mm-hmm.
suffered fatal injuries during the crash.
I mean, that sounds logical.
But when you listen to the report of Unit 1 and they refer to one person, one woman, they don't give a name. They
Right.
just refer to one woman, and all the information about that one woman is vague. If nothing else, it's non-existent. Let me go back.
Auntie Mickey,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if the chat believes in the card reader people. But there was one lady that said that what she was reading, that Angie Stone had to go through the front window of the van. So she was
That sounds
lodged in the
logical.
front window with broken glass.
Hmm.
And then when the 18 wheeler came, she ended up somewhere else,
Okay, so let's
which
just
is pinned
follow that
underneath the van.
scenario. Let's
Yeah.
just follow that scenario right there. Number one, 5 minutes was between the first accident and the second accident. Remember, we looked at this accident report of the Sprinter van yesterday. The
Mm-hmm.
police didn't even arrive
Mm-hmm.
until 5-something,
525.
5:25.
Mm-hmm.
They were called at 4:35, I think it was.
The
Let me
Yeah.
go.
accident happened at 4:35. Hold on.
Yes.
The
15
accident.
minutes after the accident occurred. So the 18 wheeler hit the vehicle 5 minutes after the first accident occurred. Okay. How was that? How was the police able to come up with all this?
Hmm.
I mean, like they said, you wasn't even there to
Right.
see
That's
anything
why.
happen.
Right.
Well, that's not so. Then this is why,
Oh
because
God.
An hour Almost
No,
an
because
hour.
well, this is the thing. When you're writing the report, you're looking at the time that you're writing the report. Okay.
Okay.
It does not
So
mean that you wasn't there investigating, taking,
I
you
know,
know.
I know, I know what that
Okay.
means. I know they were there investigating, but see, they're piecing together things that they came so far after the fact.
Yeah, it can't be accurate.
It can't be what they
There's
said
no way
about the
possible.
first sprinter van. This is how they describe what I believe to be Angie. Okay,
Mhm.
everybody else got a ride to the hospital. Everybody but her, because when it refers to her, when it refers to her, let me get to that page.
Okay.
Taken to NA, taken by NA, medical facility, not applicable. That's all you see about that person. Oh,
Really?
codes. Wait a minute. Let me give you the codes. Okay, unit 1 is the sprinter van. The seat position, she was sitting in seat number 4. Occupational type, she was a passenger. Safety equipment, she had on her seatbelt, her full seatbelt. There was no airbag for her or anyone in the back for that matter. Injury type,
Thank you, Pat.
unknown.
Take care. Okay.
Injury type, unknown. Gender, of course, was female. Ejection, no ejection.
Hmm.
First aid by nobody. No first aid rendered.
So that can't be Angie if they said she was ejected out the vehicle.
Nobody was ejected out of the vehicle, according to this report.
Well, then how?
This is
Okay.
the Sprinter. This is the Sprinter van report.
Okay.
So
That was the first. That was the
the
first.
first,
Okay. So it
yes,
means everybody was fine in that Sprinter van
until
until
they
the
got hit by
18
the 18
wheeler.
wheel. Right.
Okay. And then when the 18 wheeler hit it on the corner, which made it spin clockwork. And
It
by
said
it
it flipped
spinning
it up in the air and then came down on her after she flew out. But
out the
see,
window.
you said something. Who said something about the windshield?
Yes. Auntie Mickey, was the windshield broken?
Now, I had somebody had sent me pictures.
Because I'm just
Of,
wondering if
If
the window was broken.
if she
well,
Because
was if she was in the back, that panel thing wasn't
there
shattered.
was no panel.
Huh?
I have a video. I'm sorry. The video I was trying to share with you guys today
Uh-huh.
was the Mercedes walkthrough for that particular model and
Uh-huh.
year of the Sprinter van. There is no panel.
No, those
okay,
panels
so
are aftermarket. They have to be installed.
They have to be custom
Custom
made.
made. Exactly.
Okay. But
Those are
so
the
mhm.
standard Sprinter van for passengers has no panel.
No, they don't. And
okay,
usually
so
when you
So it
so
makes sense that she could have been catapulted. You
but
understand what I'm
the
saying?
picture
well
paperwork
according to
it has a panel up there.
I didn't see a panel in those pictures.
Oh, you have to look at it. There's a partition up there.
okay, so Faith, let's just say that there was a panel and it was down. For some reason it was down, okay?
Hmm.
My question is, was the front windshield of the van broken?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and see if I
Because
can
I don't
find those
recall
pictures.
even looking at the
Some
windshield
I
when
don't
we saw those pictures. I
someone
don't recall that.
I
But
someone
don't
sent
think
me
it
some
showed the
pictures.
windshield. It showed the partition closed. It didn't show the windshield.
Then she
You
wouldn't have
you know
been.
what I
If it
mean?
was a partition, she wouldn't have gotten through to the windshield.
Exactly. And the partition was closed off in that
but
Okay,
it could have
picture.
been, but see, the thing is that it could have been adjusted. Anything could have been adjusted in that van once it went to the wreckage yard. We don't
I
know
got the
that
pictures.
literally the state of that vehicle.
Okay,
when
now
it
that
was
I
when
wish
there
I
was
could
an accident.
pull this
You
up.
it
know
will
what I'm
be
saying? We
Dang.
don't know what they did when they took it to the yard.
it will be illegal for them to mess with anything on that vehicle when it's in a accident.
Right.
But it's at the wreckage yard, meaning that it's wrecked,
Uh-huh.
it's discarded. The investigation in terms of the vehicle is over if they send it to a wreckage yard.
Okay.
Anybody can
I don't
touch that
have
vehicle.
time. I don't have time to upload this picture. But I want you guys to see this because I saw this and I was like, what the heck is this? Maybe if I can hold it up to the screen. Do you see that?
Go over a little bit to your right. Go down a little bit. Okay, right there. No.
Does that look like a vehicle to you? Behind the Sprinter?
Look
It
like
looks
some
like
bricks back there.
wreckage. It really looks like wreckage. I might be wrong, but it looked like a car that just got mangled.
So
Yeah,
what
just
is that?
smashed.
So what is that?
I have no idea. This is a picture taken off the Paperwork Party's platform. Someone sent it to me. They took a screenshot of it. They sent it to me. This is a drive-by picture. Someone that was driving by took a picture of this. There's actually even a red truck, if you look closely, on the other side of this Sprinter
Yeah,
van.
I saw that.
You see that red truck?
Yep. That's why I said
Okay,
there's something look
but
red.
this right here, if I could pull this up, I don't have time to put this up on the screen for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I swear the first time I looked at that, it looked like a mangled car.
You talking about the thing right next to the
Where I pointed to.
that was right next to the Sprinter. It was sitting on the side up
Right
there
there.
like a ball or something. Let me
Yeah,
see.
you see my finger?
Uh-huh.
That right there.
Right.
I don't know what that is. First impression I got. And someone said that doesn't even look like the same Sprinter. But again, we don't know.
Okay. Now see
But
that was my whole point. Okay. And I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to make nobody feel some kind of way.
uh-huh.
But
This looks like a different accident.
it looked like everything. That Sprinter van that Paperwork showed does not look like it was in an accident.
It's not. I mean, this is not the same accident because the Sprinter van landed in the middle of two different southbound lanes, northbound lanes. This is on the side of the road. Here's the street. Here's the two lanes. And then we've got this grass right here. There should be another lane of traffic on the other side of this grass where the Sprinter van is. Remember, it was in the middle of
Mhm.
4 lanes of traffic, 2 on each side.
But
Right.
that doesn't look like the Sprinter van that was in the salvage yard. It's not
Yeah,
even
this isn't even the same.
it's not
This
even
I
the
don't
same one.
know.
It's not even setting up
This
the
is not the
way that it
same
was.
van.
No,
No.
it wasn't the same van that the inside of the picture where the seatbelt was buckled up. That's not the same picture.
Well, this picture here, it gives me pause because this is just a vehicle laying in the middle of a lane, and on each side is grass.
It's
But
all
that vehicle was partially into the middle of the highway, and on the other side of that grass was another lane of traffic going the opposite direction. 2 lanes of traffic going the opposite direction. You see what I'm saying? So we got 2 lanes of traffic going south, 2 lanes going north. In the
right.
middle of the 2 is that great big grassy median
Yes.
where the van ended up.
Yes,
This is not in the middle of the
that is.
freeway
I don't know what that picture is of. I,
because this looks like a mangled car.
but you said that picture was at the salvage yard, right?
No, somebody sent me this.
Okay, and they said that was at a salvage yard.
They took this off of Paperwork Party. I don't know who sent me this. Somebody sent this to me. And
I
they
never,
took it off of their
never seen that.
television.
I've never seen that on not what I was seeing on paperwork. He showed the inside of the van. I never
Right.
seen the outside of the
Okay,
van.
so what he showed on the outside of the van, now this definitely did come off of Paperwork Party.
Let me see.
The front windshield is covered in tarp. 'Cause,
Right.
I think Eye of Crystal was asking if the
Yeah.
windshield was broken.
So it is tarp. That is correct.
It's tarped, so we
Yep.
can't really tell.
Okay. So it now, if you look and see the panel, did you have that picture where
No, I don't
where
have
on the
that one.
inside where it shows that the seat belt is still connected and it's
Yeah,
stuck in the seat?
yeah, I remember seeing that.
That's where the panel, you can see the panel. If there is a panel up there.
Hmm. I have
And
that picture
when
somewhere. I don't know where it is.
when you're a limousine driver or
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. There's some more. There's some more. Okay, that's cut off so you can't tell either way. This is a side view of the driver / front passenger.
mm-hmm,
I'll show that on the camera. But this Paperwork Party
mm-hmm,
picture is cutting it off
mm-hmm,
right there.
mm-hmm.
You see me? So let me go further. That doesn't
Auntie
show
Mickey,
either way.
the only reason why I mentioned that with the card, the people that read the cards said,
Yeah,
is
tarot
because
reader.
autopsy said that she had abrasions on her knees or scrapes on her
Yes.
knees.
Yes.
That tells me, allegedly, that she could have been climbing over something sharp,
Mm-hmm.
glass, what have you.
Trying to get out.
And then when the 18-wheeler hit, that's when she was lodged. That's when she was thrown and lodged underneath the vehicle.
Hmm. And
Not that I
even
believe that theory. I'm just
I don't
putting it
know.
out.
I'm not buying the fact that she was pinned under that thing because that van is very big.
Yeah, and that's not
She
what
would
Sheila
have to
said.
be at an angle. She would have to be on the front corner of the vehicle if the vehicle was on its side. And because if she was pinned under there, she would be pinned from the neck down or from the waist up, judging from her injuries, because her major injuries were to the middle torso area. She had a scrape here or something like that on her shoulders. No neck head injuries whatsoever. So clearly that wasn't pinned. Okay.
Well, you remember what
But
Sheila said in her interview?
Uh-huh. That she
She
was
said
getting
that
out
she
and
said that
that
she felt like the van tilted or
uh-huh.
fell down. So if they were trying to move the van, I guess, then the van could have fell on her. And I think that's why they didn't notice that there was 9 people versus 8 in the first accident report.
uh-huh.
Because they didn't know that she was under the car, under the van.
They acknowledged there was 9 people in that report, that first report. They
But do you
acknowledged her.
Oh, I
do
thought there
you
was
remember?
8.
Yeah, there was 9 people listed in that accident report. That first one. They
Uh-huh.
just didn't have any information about her specifically. That's why I
Oh,
knew it was her.
okay.
But
But
the
did you hear what
18 wheel,
Sheila said? Did you hear what Sheila said when she got out? She was getting out of the van, and I think this is where Pillsbury. This is why I think Pillsbury was helping Sheila. And the whoosh came by, and it knocked her down, and then she got up and got out. Remember, Sheila said something
yeah, I
knocked her down.
remember that. I remember
Right.
Okay.
that.
So
I
when
remember
they
that
got
too.
her
Sheila
down,
thought that she was the last one in the van, and come to
uh-huh.
find out, Angie was the last one in the van.
Well, and this is the thing, when she said that she was getting out and something went woof and knocked her down,
Hmm.
Hmm.
that was probably the 18-wheeler hitting the vehicle.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So when
But
she
now,
said that she got out the vehicle, that she seen the people that were in the vest, they were helping her out, and she looked over and seen that Angie was on the ground.
the ground, not under
Not
the van,
in
but
the
on the
van.
ground.
She saw that she was under, and the lady told her, come on, don't look that way, just come on,
Yeah,
come
because she
get out.
said that the EMT told her that Angie was gone.
See,
So by the
that
time
But
was
so
but
technically,
yeah.
but
this still don't make sense to
but
me.
remember,
Mhm.
she said that the van felt like it tilted or fell over. So that's
She said
probably
she
when
know that it
they
did.
turned the van upright
Well,
when she was sitting in the van
according to the
and pulled Angie
according to the
from under
second
the.
according to the second accident report, the narrative, I should say,
Mhm.
it says when Unit 2 struck Unit 1, the force lifted Unit 1 into the air,
Wow.
causing one of the passengers to exit the vehicle through a broken window. The passenger was pinned under Unit 1 and suffered
Mhm.
fatal injuries during the crash. Well, which window did she exit? And if she was pinned, why did she only sustain uh, injuries to her midsection? That van, I mean, the only way she could sustain injuries to her midsection is if the very corner landed on her torso area and left her, you know, hips down or even knees down. She didn't have no broken bones in her legs.
And Auntie Mickey, it's interesting that you say that because Angie Stone was petite. She was
Very
like
petite,
5'3"
5'3",
or something like that. So that whole situation, her whole body should have been
would have been
crushed.
crushed.
Right.
I
But
hate to say it
but
like
you
that.
also remember, Sheila said she was outside of the vehicle, and Diamond said that she was still in the vehicle.
I know. I know it.
So it it's all wrong.
But that's
Yeah.
But
what
Sheila
Diamond
was
was told,
there.
though, allegedly. She was told that by others because she
Exactly.
wasn't part of the
Exactly.
the, the
Hmm.
van passenger. So she's only listening to what people are telling her that occurred.
Right.
You
And the
know.
way that they've constructed uh, accident one and what they should have done is just make it one whole accident report from beginning to end. The van flipped over and then another vehicle came and hit it instead of trying to separate the two, because that's where it got really confusing.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it got really confusing, and that's why I think this was all done for insurance purposes, not to get down to the real crux of the matter, but for insurance purposes.
Okay. Well,
That's my opinion. I'm
the
sorry.
insurance purposes, Sheila said the body was outside of the vehicle. She did not say that it was under the vehicle. So now you have witness stating that her body was not up under the vehicle. You have eyewitness statement that she was not under the vehicle.
Right.
And
That's
unless
that's
they pulled
going
her
to
out,
help us in
Faye,
the huh?
unless they had pulled her out, and that's why Sheila was saying that she felt the van tilt or fall.
Tilt
They
upward.
probably put the van upright and pulled her out from under there. I'm just allegedly. I don't know.
And then got Sheila out.
And then got Sheila out afterwards. Yes.
Because there is a picture of Angie on the ground covered in the pink sheet or blanket. She's laid out on the ground. I have that picture on my phone.
But you also remember that Sheila said there was nobody in the vehicle. She was the
Right.
last one out.
That's what she says. But if she
Mhm.
didn't see Angie pinned inside the vehicle, see, it's possible that Angie could have been pinned inside the vehicle rather than outside the vehicle. You see what I'm saying?
But then she wouldn't have been laying down there with a sheet over her so Sheila could see her.
I don't know.
You
It's all,
I know it is. It's a circus. It's a circus.
That's because you it's so many stories and you're trying to figure out the different stories in the who's telling the truth and who's not telling the
yeah,
truth. Who's
yeah.
got something to gain out of and who don't have anything to gain. And if Angie called Sheila there to help her with going through and to be with her because she was family, and if Sheila was her donor, then
Mhm.
that means she had to trust her to some kind of degree, right?
I would think
Right.
so. Yes.
Hmm.
So now why would Sheila start changing stories that don't go with what she saw? You get
Yeah,
what I'm
Now that
saying?
I
well, that's
haven't heard
allegedly,
a
right?
change.
Huh?
That's allegedly about being a donor, or is that true fact? Is that a fact that she was a donor for Angie Stone?
Well, I don't didn't they say that on the recording? Or I don't know. I can't say
I,
that
I
because
I heard it on a platform. I'm to the
Okay.
point now where we've heard so many different testimonies and
Mhm.
stuff. And but I mean, I'm like the facts should be on paper. You can't dispute facts on paper. Even though eyewitness is important, but then again, when you're talking about someone who is coming out of unconsciousness,
Mhm.
it's a possibility that they
Then
don't
you
have everything straight too. You know,
mm,
this vehicle was hit by an 18 wheeler, flipped up, according to the police. I don't know who said that. Maybe they're going by what the driver of the 18 wheeler told them, but they weren't there to witness that. So who told them that that's what happened to the Sprinter van? Lethal, Dante. Matter of
well,
fact,
he
if an
wasn't
18
talking to her,
wheeler,
remember?
if an 18 wheeler is flying by you, and you're helping people out of the van, how comes nobody else was severely injured with the Sprinter van? It landed precisely where nobody was standing. How about that? It
Yeah,
just
that's a
doesn't
freak.
make sense. That's a freak accident if it went down like that.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's just a freak accident, and it's freakier that Angie is the one that passed away. That makes it even freakier
Yeah, and
because
that's why we're here today, because we don't
exactly.
believe it. I know I don't.
I think it's so much cover up in it. We probably will never know
Yeah,
what the truth is, trying to
yeah.
figure it out. I think if the truth were to come out, it's
And
supposed to
that's
come out like
another
it's supposed
thing.
to.
Here's another thing. Uh, who just said that? Vivian. Vivian says Stone Paxton said there were 3 pow-pows recovered. My question is, why did they need weapons? My question is, why did they give 2 of them back to Shayna?
Well, they needed weapons. Everybody
They did.
carries a gun,
They got $15,000 in cash.
Okay,
They
but
got a
listen,
weapon.
and they got
listen.
Angie Stone with them. They need
But
to
listen,
have. They need to be taken.
I can see the
Yeah.
pow-pows
Mm-hmm.
more than I can see why they gave them to Shayna. 2 of the pow-pows were given to Shayna. Shayna
Because
was
they
not on the
probably
van.
because they
Maybe they were
probably
registered to her.
belong. Yeah, exactly.
Say what? What was
They
that?
probably was registered to Shayna.
But we
Yeah.
don't know that. We can say probably, allegedly, but
Well,
all we know is that they gave
they
her
gave her
because
two. They didn't give her. They didn't give
they
her the
asked
other one.
her, they asked her, do you carry one?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Everyone should carry one. Okay, but you're giving 2 pow-pows to someone that was not even on the van. Who did you take them from? Is my question. If you took 3 pow-pows off of people in the van, wouldn't you not return them to their rightful owner?
You will
In other
return
words,
them to whose
who you
name they're registered to. And I'm gonna say this. Say for instance, Angie had one on herself. Okay.
uh-huh. Well, they
And
kept one. They kept one.
okay. But say for instance, Angie had one that was registered in Shayna's name because she trusted her with a lot of things. And maybe she got one registered in her name.
Hmm.
And that's why it was returned, those two was returned to Shayna because they were in her name.
Why were they
But
not
the
returned to her next of kin? Shayna's not her next of kin.
if the gun was registered in Shayna's name,
If they were
not
registered in Shayna's name, but the
yeah,
police asked her, "Do you own a pow pow?"
cool.
Shayna. They
They
asked her
asked
that.
her that. The
That's
police
what.
did.
Yes.
And what was her answer?
I don't know. I mean, it
Allegedly.
was more like, "Why do I need to carry one?" And the officer allegedly said this, and this is not written in stone. I'm not gonna say it's written in stone, and I'm not talking about Stone Paxton. Let me get his name off the
Okay.
screen. I'm not saying Stone Paxton said anything. I'm just saying that it's not written in stone that this is
Hmm.
exactly how it went down. But there were 3 pow pows taken off of people in
Hmm.
the van, and they get to the hospital, and those 2 of those 3 pow pows are returned to Shayna.
Hmm.
Now, it makes sense if they were registered to her, they would give them to her.
Hmm.
But what if they weren't registered to her? Why would they give them to her? You know what I'm
Most
saying?
likely they were registered to her,
They
though.
had to
I'm
be.
not surprised that they had pal pals with them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the day and age that
Right.
we live in.
So give
And if
them back
you're
to the people they
exporting,
belong to.
Hmm.
I mean, even though they might be whoever they took them from,
Hmm.
if they didn't belong to the individual that they took them from, wouldn't those people end up in jail for
you would
carrying
think,
an unregistered That's my
yeah.
point.
Hmm.
If they, let's
No,
say
wait
you
a
and
minute.
me,
Okay, say that
you and
again.
me, or let's say the 3 of us, or the
Hmm.
4 of us, or 3 of us are on in a car, and we get
Hmm.
pulled over, and the cop takes uh 3 pow pows away, one
Hmm.
from each of us, and we end up going to the hospital. Somebody hit us or something, and they return 2 of those pow pows to one person, even though it might not have been registered to you. I mean, it would have to be registered to one person to give 2 pow pows to one person. Why isn't that third person not, or should I say, one of those people not going to jail for carrying a pow pow that's not registered to them? It still doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense
Yeah.
that the
But
vehicle and
it's
the
Alabama.
driver was a felon and there were pow pows in the vehicle
Hmm.
and they gave them back.
That's weird.
Yeah, all of
Mhm.
that's not right.
All
And
of
then,
that is
yeah,
weird. And they keep one, but they give them to someone that wasn't even in the van. And if one was on Angie or on her person, that should have been turned over to her next of kin.
and usually I'm Mickey, and I'm just being honest. Um, if old girl wasn't in the vehicle, then I don't see them giving the pow pows back to them that night.
Yeah, that was pretty quick to give
Yeah,
back some pow pows.
yeah. And if she wasn't in the vehicle, now if she was in the vehicle and she was carrying it on herself, and something happened, and they know that her is registered to her, then I can
Hmm.
see them giving it back to her because she was there in the vehicle.
Hmm.
But her not to be in the vehicle and her pal pals were in the vehicle registered to her, I don't see them just giving her the pal pals that
Right.
night.
Why are
giving
you
it back to
allowing
them.
someone to carry your pow pows
Mhm.
around?
Yeah.
Either way, somebody should be answering to somebody about carrying pow pows, and if they're not registered to that individual. And if
Hmm.
they are registered to that individual, why not give them back to that individual? If they're not, uh, let's say one was Angie's, if it happened to be in her possession and registered to someone else, I could see that. But two, it doesn't make sense.
Well, this is the thing. If her next of kin has felons, they not gonna give them a pow pow. Do you understand
Not
what I'm
every,
saying?
yeah, but there's
Okay.
more than one next of kin.
That
Do
is
both
true.
of her next of kins have?
I don't know. I just answer. I just said that
Yeah.
because that would be a reason not
Hmm.
to give them pow pows is because they are already they're felons. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly. But
Okay.
they still gave it to the wrong person. I'm just saying they she's not next to kin. She's just not. She's not next to kin.
None of
That's
it is
like
making sense.
that's like me getting in an accident and my next door neighbor. They hand the pow pows to my next door neighbor, whether they were registered to me or not, or or registered to my husband. Why would you give them to my neighbor just because he lived next door?
Because
That's
your
how I
next
look at
of
that.
kin, because your next of kin can't handle. I mean, they can't hold it, but they can tell you to give it to her. You get what I'm saying?
So they're gonna put someone else's pow pows in someone else's hand.
Because the next of kin cannot have those legally.
So they should hold
It
on
is-
to them until they find a next of kin that can. It just still doesn't make sense which why they would turn them over to her
oh,
specifically.
okay, say for instance, let me put it this way. Say for instance that were uh something happened to me. I just say me and my daughter or my son couldn't take the pow pals because they're in legal trouble. But because it's my possession, they would say they have the right because they're next of kin to say, well, just give it to Auntie Mickey and let her hold on to it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
Okay.
for police to do that, I mean, if it was just a common citizen, I could see that. But for police to do that, police don't like to just pass out pow pows to people. They like to hold on to them things.
They do. I don't see them giving it right back to them the next day. I mean, the same day
Yeah,
anyway.
that part just didn't make
Yeah.
sense to me. All
Yeah.
this happened at the hospital.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. That's considered evidence. Why would you turn over evidence to somebody without at least taking it to the evidence locker? There could have there could have been somebody else's fingerprints on those pow pows for all we know. It's just, you know,
But how do we know that they gave them to them? How do we know that? Is that hearsay that they gave them to her?
that's a good question. I think that
Okay.
that was part of an interview of some kind.
Hmm.
I haven't seen any, but that's again, we don't have a whole lot of paperwork to substantiate the narrative that
Hmm.
people are talking about. So,
People put their own spin to the story because they
hmm
were getting information and have led us down a rabbit hole. And now we're
hmm
trying to figure it out now that we see the paperwork, the
hmm
actual paperwork, and we see what we see, and it's not adding up to what we've
yeah,
already been told. And
yes,
that's why it's where it's at. And just like
hmm
Diamond said in the beginning, she said there is an ongoing investigation. She
hmm
knew that there was an investigation
yeah,
going on.
yeah,
So if there
okay,
is an investigation going on, it's something criminal that they do not, I mean, that they feel has happened.
right.
An insurance is a different investigation. That's not the
Yeah.
same as a police investigation.
Hmm. Well, this is allegedly being investigated as a homicide. I'm gonna throw that allegedly in there.
Oh, it is
It's
allegedly.
being, it's a. I'm just saying allegedly,
Okay. Well,
but someone who is very knowledgeable said it's being investigated as a homicide.
and that is why everything is redacted, everything is blacked out because, and they're not gonna
Hmm.
let you find it. They not until their investigation is over.
Hmm.
And if that is the fact, I understand why everything is like it is because
Hmm.
they are trying to make a case and they're
Right.
not going to put it out so they can't make a case.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That makes sense if
Hmm.
that's the truth.
If that's
If that's the
the
truth,
truth,
that kind of makes sense.
exactly. And then there's always the thing that this is done in Alabama.
But it's so, you
And
know what? It's so much
it's
craziness
just a
going on
mess. I'm sorry.
about the organ harvesting and all that stuff. It's just a mess what's going on with that. But honestly, I think all this stuff connects. I think it all connects in some kind of way. It
Yeah.
might not connect with Angie's situation, you know.
Hmm.
But then
Hmm.
again, all that stuff that he was pulling up, that people were involved in this kind of business and this kind of business.
Hmm.
Now I believe, I'm gonna say this, I believe that he was pulling up that information and did not know what he was pulling up. When I say did not know, he was pulling up stuff that he wasn't supposed to find out. And then when he found out the information that he was pulling up, he was in too deep. Being the
You talking
person
about
that he
somebody
is,
else? You talking
huh?
about that other? You talking about
With
the
that
other
other
content
yes,
creator?
yes.
Mm.
He was in there dibbling dabbling and got deep with it and didn't know he was in that deep. Now he trying to cover the stuff up that he didn't dug out. Now he
Yeah,
retracting. You get what I'm saying?
I
Because
hear
he,
what you're saying. I hear
uh-huh,
what you're saying.
because
I
he's
hear
too
what you're
far in
saying.
there. Now he trying to back up out of it.
Mm.
But you didn't
Well,
already put
one
it out
thing,
there.
you know what? One thing is for sure. If nothing else, this brings full awareness to how bad off the industry is, how demonic the entertainment business is as a whole
Hmm.
for um, not only for artists, the musicians, but even actors and actresses. It's just
And the things
it's
that they have
absolutely
to do to
ridiculous.
stay in that industry, to stay
Right,
relevant.
right.
And
There's a lot of dirt going on.
I don't listen to the Diddy stuff, but just of what I have heard, people were saying or whatever.
Hmm.
Uh, and they're saying, that they don't feel that, you know, he should go to jail for them being participants
Right.
in what they
Well,
were doing.
are you saying that he shouldn't go to jail or they shouldn't go to jail?
Well, they were saying that they didn't feel they were saying free Diddy and all this because they didn't think Diddy should be in jail for
Well,
people actually participating in the nefarious
a lot
things
of the
going
people,
on.
a lot of the people that are out there saying free Diddy are being paid by Diddy to wear those t-shirts and say those things.
It is,
And
but it's
they've been
people in your
interviewed.
city. It's
Yeah,
people in
there's
your
some people
city.
out there that
Yeah,
believe that it was all consensual, but um, prostitutee is not legal.
it's not,
It, it
and that's
can
where
it
he's getting in trouble with.
That's
but
right. And the
but
people that he
yeah,
had doing stuff for him are
yeah,
his conspirators. That's what makes it a RICO case.
that's true. Now
So he
Rick,
flipped all
that
those people.
yeah, he gonna get it. He
Oh, he
gonna
gonna
get
get
it.
it big. He gonna
Yeah,
have He gonna have to protect his booty. He gonna have to protect his little booty hole.
But if you listen to what the victims were saying, as far as they were doing this and they kept doing it, they wasn't held hostage and things like this, then they sound
Some
like they're
were.
yes, they
Have
sound
you
like
heard some of the
participants.
testimony?
No, I have not really heard for myself because I don't
Girl,
want to get into that. That
they
that that's a
interviewed a
demon
woman.
pit. I don't want to be there.
They questioned a woman in court today who testified that Diddy held dangled her over the side of a building.
Mm.
That's crazy. You know what that reminded me of? Y'all ever seen the movie The Five Heartbeats?
Mm-hmm.
Remember what they did to that young brother when he came in there to talk about his money or whatever he came in there? I can't remember. But Big Red, he said, my hours are from 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And he was really ticked off at that young man coming in there, just like allegedly Diddy was ticked off at this young lady protesting whatever he wanted her to do, and he dangled her over the side of a building. And that was her sworn testimony today.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong, Mickey. I do think that people.
Stella Rose. I'm sorry, hold on just a second, Faith.
Okay.
Stella Rose says, I'm confused. Why are we using someone else's content? What content are you talking about, sweetheart? We're not using someone else's content. I'm confused too. You said you're confused. Why are we using someone else's content? Can you elaborate, please? Because now I'm confused. Exactly. It's all public information. It's all over the place. It's on national TV. Yeah, this isn't someone else's content. It's being reported every day.
I just hope they all get round up together and they all
Mhm.
be up in the house together,
Right.
the big house,
That
all
part.
them,
They even
even the new ones that came in to
yeah,
try to juice off of the situation.
yeah. Well,
You know,
they even question Ray J's name came up in court today about this. You
well,
know, I mean, names are dropping now, and this is not
and that's what I said about that.
hearsay.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
not
what I
when it
said. But
hits the court.
each week that goes by, it's gonna get deeper and deeper. You know,
Absolutely.
because you got to think Whitney Houston, whose name came up with the Whitney Houston thing.
Yeah,
Ray J.
yeah,
You
yeah,
see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's gonna get deeper and deeper as it go. And this is an industry they're all in. And
Mm-hmm,
usually all the industry people stay with the industry people. They deal with the industry
mm-hmm,
people. And
mm-hmm,
so they're all connected, you know,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and it'll fall.
And they get all tied up in that stuff, thinking that it's all one big party, and then the next thing you know, you're stuck. Because at some point in time, those white parties turned into the after white parties, and that's when stuff started really happening.
Well, that was the reason why I know some people in the industry, okay? Let's say that. And I know that they do things that they shouldn't be doing. And
Hmm.
they do it to stay in the industry because that's all they know.
Yeah,
And they they abuse themselves. And when
they
I say
sure
abuse,
do.
yeah, they abuse themselves.
Yeah,
And
they do.
I don't know because I'm not in the industry and I
Hmm.
haven't signed any contracts or stuff, but at one point you have to love yourself more than just allowing that industry to just keep you under,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
If you know you have to do stuff to stay in it and you don't want to do it, you
Hmm.
got to get out of there.
Absolutely.
But some people don't think they think it's like a game.
Hmm.
You just can't
Well,
just leave out of it just like that.
right. Well, one thing before I close out tonight, there's one thing I will say that I saw uh, Terrence Howard's interview, and he
Mm-hmm.
made a lot of sense.
Yes, he
He
did.
said, when a man gives up his man card,
Can't
at the
get it back.
moment it may be okay, but you got to live with that afterwards.
And
And
you can't. Most of them can't.
it do something to them.
Yeah,
Either they go
mentally.
all in or they go all out.
But see,
One of the two.
That goes back to the slavery days
Hmm.
where the what was it called, the butt
Buck breaking, yes.
breaking, where
Yes. They
they
break
would
them in,
they
break
would
them
break them
down.
in front of the women to
Yes.
make them feel less than,
Yes.
so they don't think they are man enough.
Hmm.
And 9 times out of 10, them men would leave them women
Hmm.
and the kids
Yep.
and run off.
Yep. And
But
isn't that ironic?
yeah, but they'll go to another woman because she didn't get to watch him
Hmm.
be broken down like that.
Right.
But it goes in this industry, not only in this industry, in other industries for people to reach the top. It just don't happen with women. Like they say,
Hmm.
women screw themselves up to the top.
Hmm.
It happens to the men too.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
take the wrong way just to get ahead, but they
Yep.
never get ahead because once they get to the position they thought they wanted, it's not even the position that they want. And now they have sold themselves.
All that glitters ain't gold, huh?
All the glitters ain't gold. And that's
Man,
sad.
oh man. Yep.
But Terrence Howard, also Cat Williams,
Yep.
before any of this has even came to this point, they've
Yep.
been telling us for years.
Yep.
But it's so many people that want to get in the industry because the money,
Yeah. The
the
money,
bag,
fame, and fortune.
yeah. And
The
once you get
money,
there, you
fame,
can't,
and fortune.
if you can't make yourself relevant, if you can't keep yourself relevant in the industry, you're no good to the industry.
Right.
And keeping yourself relevant, you have to do all kind of nefarious things to
Yeah.
keep yourself out there. And it's sad, but
Yeah.
hopefully, and you're right. Monique did speak of it, Vivian.
Hmm.
Monique spoke of it too. And they've been
Yeah.
speaking out on it, but
Yeah.
you know, some people look at it as, well, that was them. That happened to them. It ain't gonna happen to me because I'm gonna try to move
Right.
a little differently. But
Mm.
it is, it's just not the entertainment industry, Aunt Mickey.
Yeah.
It's all
Well,
industries.
it's even hit the White House.
It's been hit the right
It
house.
hit the White House. Even there's I heard a little clip today. Can't remember where I heard it was on TV. Elon Musk said that Trump was on the Epstein tapes or in the Epstein books, and
He did.
Trump said, well, okay, well, I'm gonna open up the book since you say my name is in there, and I'm gonna expose everybody.
Well, he got to, because if he open them up, he gonna tell on everybody. They
All
all
he
over
gonna do
there.
is pardon himself. I mean, if he
Well,
was in there, he's the
well,
president. He can do whatever he want to do.
that would be a chess move.
I mean, think about it. This man is the only president in history to have 37, was it 34 or 37 convictions?
Yeah.
He's the president now because
Well,
these people voted for him.
well, you also have to look at it too. Mickey, he didn't have none before he went in there.
No, he didn't. He
Okay, and
didn't.
all of a sudden he got them. So that, and then
And
a
he
whole bunch of
still
other
made
stuff.
it in.
Yeah. So that don't sound right. You,
Yeah, he still made it in.
Yeah, because
So,
don't they do a background check on for you to become president?
yeah.
Okay,
What
so
profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own
okay,
soul?
see.
Man.
Well, but the whole thing is that he didn't have any felonies before he went in. But when he got out, all of a sudden he got all these felonies.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the background check that they supposed to do to
Didn't matter.
it doesn't matter.
It didn't matter. At
Because
the
you
end of the
know why?
day,
You know why it didn't matter, Mickey?
hmm.
Because they know it was some bull crap.
Hmm.
And I'm just looking at it from a fair standpoint. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because he wasn't if he got all those felonies, he wasn't supposed to be able to become president.
Wait a minute. Trump gonna deport Elon.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Tracy said Trump gonna deport Elon.
So
Well, you
Elon better
shouldn't
be
have.
cool.
Wait a minute. He should have thought about that before he put Elon in that powerful position.
You know what? And I really think all the president has said something about doing something about these different agencies, but they did not do it. Even Obama spoke about it. They were just scared to do it. Trump got somebody that did it for him.
Yeah.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Uh huh.
that
Uh huh.
hey, and he did it. But look at all the wasteful money that was going to places that shouldn't have been going.
Yeah.
As a
It's very
United States
true.
citizen, I'm appalled for all the money that was going to waste.
I'm
And
telling you.
I mean, we can't get free education. It's some of us that have student loans for 30 years. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? But
Exactly.
somebody else can come over here and get a free ride to college, and
Man,
then
I'm telling
you
you,
know what I mean?
free
So
housing.
it's
Let me
not
tell
fair.
you.
It's
Yeah, let
not
me
fair.
tell you. Let me tell you what's not fair. Let me tell you a little story, and then I'm gonna let y'all go. I used to work with someone that was not from this country
Mhm,
many years ago. He came over here at the age of 12 from Somalia,
mhm,
and he wed his wife. They had 6 children. The wife did not speak English. He
mhm,
learned the ropes on how to get over. They come. I was, now this was according to him. He told me when he first came here, they were all given the same birthday of January the 1st.
mhm,
Everybody gets the same birthday when they come here from over there, January 1st. And depending on how young you look, you could be January the 1st, 1972, and have been born in 62.
just make
But
up yeah.
doesn't matter. They just give you January 1st and a year. And then at that point, you get some free education,
And free money.
free money,
Mhm,
and this young man learned the ropes on how to play the system. So what he
mhm,
did was he created a business
mhm,
on how to hip others that are coming over here
mhm,
what to do, and he was making money off of those people
mhm,
and paying him. And as he was doing this, he was working for a governmental entity
mhm,
and was basically a conflict of interest because the department that he worked in, how can I say this without giving it away? He had jurisdiction, so to speak, over a certain type of, how can I put this? Let's just say he monitored.
He had pertinent information.
Yeah, well, he monitored certain types of transportation that
Mhm,
needed to have a certain licensing, um, at a certain place in
mhm.
the city. I can't give it away because I used to work there. But
Right, right,
anyway,
right, right.
okay, so I'm just gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell it. I just won't mention the name. I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna tell it. I ain't been in a long time. I used to work for a airport,
Yep.
and I worked for the department. I won't say the name of the department, but those who are affiliated with airports will know that there are departments that have jurisdiction over hired vehicles that
Mhm.
operate at the airport.
Yes.
And with that said, we had to monitor every vehicle despite what it was. It could have been a taxi, for instance, allegedly. It could have been a shuttle,
Mhm.
allegedly. It could have been a limo, allegedly, a town car, allegedly. I'm going to
Mhm.
say allegedly throughout this entire thing.
Yes,
So
sir.
we were responsible for putting permits on those vehicles so they could operate at the airport.
Right.
That included taxis. And this individual was running an operation of his own. He was a bona fide licensed uh, business owner, and
Mhm.
his business was to hip his fellow Somalians and whomever came over on how to take advantage of what you can get from our government. And he made a nice little chunk of change doing it while he's working at the
His
airport.
government job. Yep. Yeah.
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 And that's what happens. They come over, they get quite a bit of money, they get
Yeah.
housing, free housing.
Mhm.
In his particular case, he was married to a woman that spoke no English and had 6 kids. So he was able to go set up for her food stamps, Section
Mhm.
8,
Mhm.
um, all that good stuff for her. And the reason he was able to get away with living there is because they fall back on their religious beliefs that a man should not, religiously cannot be separated from his family.
Mhm.
And they bought that.
But also, Aunt Mickey, that
Hmm.
those people are not planning on living here in the first place. They're just here to get money so they can go build their
And
fortune,
send it back. Yeah.
send it back, and so they can go and retire there. So
But
they
now
don't care.
some places are war torn, though. They don't want to go back.
Yeah, some places are, but then they'll find places in Africa that they can go to.
Uh
You know what
huh.
I mean?
Uh
And
huh.
they can live like kings because they already know, what's going on. But
Absolutely.
it's a lot of people that are here that are not
Hmm.
trying to make home here.
Right.
They are just getting money so
To
they
help
can
their families and stuff.
help
Yeah.
their family so they can go back. They building apartment complexes, they
Hmm.
building mansions, they building
Hmm.
all of that stuff. So when they do go back home, they living
They're
like kings
like
and queens.
kings. Yep.
Yes. And this is the thing. They don't care about getting deported because they want to go back anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, and that's what's not fair because us as citizens, we want to have businesses of our own, but a
Hmm.
lot of us can't afford to go into businesses by ourselves. And
Because
they
they,
will give us loans to
right.
even start
The
up the business.
funding. They're
Yeah,
not giving us the funding. They're giving it
right.
to other people that just come over here. I mean,
Yeah.
just look at what, oh my God, look at what was going on.
9/11.
No, right after COVID, even
Oh,
during
okay.
COVID,
Oh, okay.
where a lot of people that came over here, they were getting 13,000 dollars a month on their EBT card, which covered their rent and groceries. I
Well,
mean,
the border
crazy amounts.
the border thing is what slapped us all in the face.
Yeah, yeah,
And that right there should have opened everybody's eyes to what
yeah,
is going on.
absolutely.
Us as citizens, we don't get the treatment that somebody else that's not citizens get.
They
They were
right.
getting housing, people, the hotels.
Oh
They
my
were
God.
they were
Tell me
living
about it.
like kings
Oh
and
my
queens in these
God.
hotels, getting good food, getting $30,000 in cash, and the people that lived in like in Chicago. They
Yeah.
were being put out and living on the street while these other people were living like kings and queens.
And see them
Now, if
hotels,
that
they
wasn't a
jack
slave,
up they jack up the prices just to get all that money. They jack up the prices and they give a certain allotment of rooms, jack up the prices on those rooms for that particular group of people. In other words, you can have a hotel like the Marriott. I'm just throwing
hmm
that name out there. It's got 400 rooms to it,
hmm
and they'll designate 100 of those rooms for just those that you
yes,
know that need them,
yes,
so to speak. And they jack the prices up of those 100 rooms 2 times higher than the other ones,
just so the
and
government can
they're
pay
going to
for
get it.
it.
They'll
Yeah,
get it. Yeah,
yeah. But
greed.
that's like Section 8, the Section 8 houses. You know, a lot of people were put out of their Section 8 homes
Yep.
because their vouchers wouldn't cover the rent, but they gave money for the foreigners enough to cover their rent. And so
Yes.
the landlords were putting the people out that had lower vouchers
Uh huh.
for the people, the foreigners that had higher vouchers.
Higher vouchers. It's all
That,
about the greed.
but that was crazy that they allowed us to see how corrupt the system was.
Absolutely.
And we are American
Absolutely.
citizens.
Yep.
That right there, it was a slap in all of our faces
Yep.
because they showed us we didn't have to be on the assistant, but they showed us exactly how they felt about us as being American.
Yeah.
You know, and
Specifically Black Americans. They do
that
that
is
more to
true.
Black Americans than they do to any other Americans.
That is
Uh,
true. But
It's
I saw a lot of American people,
mhm.
regardless black, white, whatever. They
Yep.
were homeless and other foreigners were living good.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Go drive through downtown Los Angeles. You can't miss it.
That's crazy, and it's all kind of people. But
All
then,
kind of people.
but then you have foreigners driving Lexus, Mercedes,
Yeah.
Tesla.
Yep.
That is just, if that's not a slap in our face as
Yes, it
American
is.
citizens,
Yes,
I
it
don't
is.
know what is.
It's
You,
it's it's amazing. But
yeah,
that's the sign of the times. We living in some upside down times.
but the thing of it is, Auntie Mickey, they got us fighting up against each other. We
Yep.
don't even fight the real problem
Yeah.
because we too busy beating each
Fighting
other
each
up.
other.
Ain't
Yep.
that sad?
It is. It
That's,
is.
you know what that's called?
What's that, dear?
Divide and conquer.
Hello. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it. I call it the crab shoot. You put a bunch of crabs in a bucket and they watch them try to climb out, stand on each other, and they still don't get out.
They still don't get out. And then
Still
when
don't get
they
out.
when they do get out, they don't stay out. They go right back
End up
in
back in there.
because of the mentality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
They'll go try to they made it out and making it good, but they'll go
Hmm.
hit somebody that's an older rich person upside the head.
Yeah.
But they made it out. So why are you
Yeah.
going to hit somebody upside the head?
But that's when it becomes a competition. And that's, I mean, and I can't say all people are like that, but a lot of people that make it out, especially in the culture, they make it
Mhm.
out and they forget where they came from. And they feel like they've got to do just awful things in order to stay where they are instead of stretching that hand out and bringing somebody up with them. There's more than enough money for everybody when you think about it.
But they don't
It's not a competition.
it's not a competition and they don't understand what loyalty is.
Hmm. Hmm.
Once they understand what loyalty really means, you got to be loyal to yourself before you loyal to
That's true.
anybody.
That's
And
true.
until they can understand that concept,
Hmm.
they'll never make it out. Their minds are enslaved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So they have not really
Bondage.
that. Yeah,
They're Their minds are in bondage.
Exactly. So they're never free.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
never free. And it's
Yeah.
sad because a lot of the ones that really are trying to make it and trying to do the right thing,
Hmm.
they don't you they get caught stuck in the system because they too busy trying to help other people.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And so
Absolutely.
they stay, they stay on the bottom too because they're not trying to, as they say, I'm not trying to be better than you.
Hmm.
Well, if you're not better than me, how you gonna make it out?
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Somebody got to be better to
Hmm.
move forward.
Yeah.
Or if not, we're gonna stay in the same spot.
Well, especially when you're competing with other cultures that have the upper hand in terms of the economy.
Well,
You know.
those other cultures know how to stick together.
Right. But I'm talking about the clear culture. The clear culture that seems to believe that they're the superior culture and they hold down other people to remain in a certain spot. And eventually that time will come where they'll be on the bottom. Didn't the Bible say the last shall be first and the first shall be last?
But they got to open up their eyes in order to get out.
That's right.
Because if
That's
you don't
right.
open up that spiritual eye, you're gonna stay
Hmm.
in. You are
Yeah,
never going. You always going to be the last. You not.
absolutely.
You're not gonna move.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna move to the first because you too busy worried about somebody else got
Hmm.
superiority over you.
Right.
Nobody is more superior than you. You know what I mean? Except
Hmm.
for the God who made you.
Right. Right.
But when you keep saying this, you know, when you keep making yourself feel less than them people, then
Hmm.
that's what you're going to feel. That's what you're going to be.
That's
Less
true.
than because you're making yourself feel like that.
That's true.
We have to hold ourselves and people of our kind accountable for the things that they
Hmm.
say because they are putting spells on themselves and they are making themselves. Have you heard them say, we're under a curse?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
We're under a curse. Have you,
Uh huh.
have you,
Oh yeah.
but that is not true. But if you feel like you're under a curse, you're going to be cursed.
Right. It's a self curse.
It's a self curse because somebody that made you stay and feel that.
A curse is in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly, but
Hmm.
you hear a lot of people, and especially the church people, talking about we up under a curse. We
Yeah.
ain't under no doggone. You
Well,
under a
then I
curse.
guess you referring to the Bible as a curse too. I mean, come on now.
Well, I'm look the way they wrote it. It can be because they use it as a weapon.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay,
They took away. They hey, you did. The Bible also said don't add and don't subtract,
and
and that's what they did.
they
They
did that when
subtracted.
they did that when
Hmm.
they rewrote that King James version.
Hmm. Hmm.
They
So
they
look,
they subtracted because they didn't put a whole bunch of books in there, right?
right. That's right.
They didn't even put the whole Luke in there. They just took half of it away.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
It was all
so
for control. It
it
was
was
all for
all for
control.
control. So you didn't took
Hmm.
away and you didn't add to it. And that
Yeah.
they say that in there because if you take away from what they already said, or if you add to it, then they're scaring you not to do
Hmm.
anything outside the box. You got to stay
Right.
in that box.
Right.
And when you stay in that box, you are in control of you stay in control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
It's
right.
a,
Well, tonight was a nice evening.
it
We
was.
got quite a bit done and we discussed quite a bit, but there's just a couple more things I want to bring up before I shut it down. Um, Tomorrow night is game night. It's gonna be Name That Tune again. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do 70s and 80s or 80s and 90s, but we're gonna do Name That Tune again tomorrow night. We're gonna do that every Friday night, and sometime there might be Name That Movie or something like that. But we're gonna have fun. Um, but I just wanted to let those of you who are still here and those that we still got 186 people in the chat. So we're doing pretty good right now. Just to give you guys a heads up, there will be a young lady coming in the very near future. spoken word artist who will be coming here to display her art. She is bad. She is, man, I can't say too much, but I'm just dangling the carrot for y'all to just stay tuned, because the content is not going to always be Angie Stone. And Angie Stone, it's doing its, we doing our due diligence with Angie Stone, and we're going to try to keep her name out there at all times. Okay. But there is also other information out there for us to indulge in. And this young lady is very talented, very, very talented. And I want to introduce her to this platform in the very, very near future. And I'm just telling you guys now to just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I don't think you'll I think you'll be very satisfied with what you hear. She does actually, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyhow. She does have a very beautiful spoken word about Angie Stone that I know that you would love to hear. So I'm just letting you guys know that there is going to be an introduction coming very soon. And I will let you know in advance as to when that actually happens. But I'm just letting you know before the let you know. Okay? So I don't think I have any more announcements. That was it. But I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that we got so involved in our conversation about the reports and about Angie and all that, and then into politics, that it almost slipped my mind. And I don't want to leave this platform until I acknowledge this young lady. Beautiful spirit, beautiful, beautiful artistry. And I believe you guys will be very, very blessed when you hear her. So with that said, I'm going to shut this thing down, get off of this chair. My butt is numb. Yes.
I saw you moving around like,
Yeah, I was like, ooh, wee. Ooh, and there's a pillow up under me too. And it's like, whole pillow is suffering right now. But I love you guys. I love you guys so much. Faith, thank you so much for your commentary. You're blessing every time. Those of you that are still here, thank you for hanging with us till the end. I thank all of those that gave super chats and super stickers and all them super things of love that you have shown me. I really appreciate it. And just keep me up in your prayer, because it's been a long road to this point, and God has been in it every time. There's a season for everything, and I don't like to talk about that other situation, but just know that even that was a blessing in disguise. If you don't get anything out of a bad experience, is what you learn from a bad experience.
Right.
So with that said, good night, you guys. I love you. Peace.
Hey,
Mickey. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. So fine, you blow my mind. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. So fine, you. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine.
The like button, it don't cost you nothing.